surprise interview with a radical Latino, as some of you may already know. And we're going to talk a little more about his channel, his views, and how he views the world, and really getting to understand you more because we don't really know uh, your motivations or your influences or what your goals really are. Um, so you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
All right, cool. Dominican Renaissance, thank you for having me. Well, I go by the name the Radical Latino. My whole channel is basically about combating white supremacy that affects the Black and Latin community, and for us to come together as Black and Latin people to combat that enemy called white supremacy. When I talk about white supremacy, I'm not talking about white people. I'm talking about the system of white supremacy because at the end of the day, even white people get affected by the same system. So that's what my main topics are. I've gotten some achievements throughout the 2 years that I've been doing this. I became number 25 on 55 all Latin podcast list. Also, I've talked so far virtually to college lectures. So far, I think my message is resonating and it's actually doing pretty good.
Okay, interesting. So would you say that you felt like what moment did you decide, or I guess um, when did you believe that you noticed that there is a system called white supremacy? Like, when did you feel that you became aware of it and that
Um,
you wanted to do something about it?
well, it all started when my first of all, I grew up in the church. I don't know if you know that. I grew up in the church, super Pentecostal, as any stereotypical Latin household, most of them are Catholic, but also,
Majority,
both from, yeah,
overwhelming
majority,
majority.
yeah, overwhelming, you're right, are Catholic, but also it branches out in different sectors of Christianity. So I grew up in the church, and my mom told me one day, she was like, "It's something weird in the Bible where it says that Jesus is black," and I
Mm.
couldn't believe that. So I'm like, "Oh, what?" So she showed me the verse, and she was like, "Yeah, that's interesting, right?" I'm like, "That, yeah, that is interesting." So it made me go out and actually do some research into what Christianity was. The more research I did, the less faith I started to have in my own religion, to the point where I stumbled upon what people might call race realism. Um,
Mm.
and I started to understand this concept of racism, what they call white supremacy, and that's when I started to say, "Oh, okay, it affects all areas of activity throughout people." So when I saw that, that's when I was like, "Wait a minute, let me study a little bit more about it," because I knew something was wrong. I knew living in the place where I live at in the Bronx, there was Black and Latin people around, and I saw poverty, and it's only happened to our people. The abuses is only happening to our people, and it was happening in different facets, like within education, the judicial system, you know, all throughout, my youth growing up. So I knew something was up. I didn't know what it was until this concept of white supremacy came about, and I understood it, and that's what made me want to know and study it a little bit more. Once that happened, um, I didn't really see a a um, a Latin person actually out here speaking for Latin people and talking about this thing called white supremacy. The people that I did see were either like Immortal Technique or some college professors, but they didn't really have that much of a big broad stance or audience. So I said, let me throw my hat in the ring and see what I could actually do. 2 years later,
Sorry to
here I
interrupt
am
you,
now.
but could you define what Latin people means? Because obviously, depending on who you speak to, this has different meanings, and over time it's changed. So,
Yeah.
could you kind of specify like what you mean by that, and like where can I find this definition?
Okay.
Or if
Well,
you have your own definition.
I have my own definition of for Latin people, because we are not a race, classified here in America. Whenever I talk about Latin people or the struggles or anything, I'm talking about here in America only. I'm not talking about our homeland or whatever. I do when I do talk about our homeland, I talk about the situations that might derive from there that coincides with what's happening here. But when I say Latin, I understand the history of it, that it was came from the Romans, the Italians, and all this other stuff. But let's keep it real. When people talk about Latinos, or Latinas, or Latin America, nobody's talking about Italy. Nobody's thinking about Italy. Nobody's thinking about Rome. Nobody's thinking about Europe whatsoever. I understand the history, and with words, certain words change and meanings change throughout time. So when I talk about Latin people, I'm talking about Central, South, um, Northern, and Caribbean people who were colonized by the Spaniards and who are either mixed or biracial from the Spaniards or not the Spaniards, which if it's going to be the indigenous or the Africans that they intermingled with their ancestors or whatever, that's who I'm speaking to, and that's what my definition is of being Latin until we
Wait,
find
wait.
out
So it
our
doesn't
own.
apply to, because you said mixed people.
Yeah,
So
until we find our
black
own until
black
we
and
find
indigenous
our
people are not
no, until we
Latin
find our
by
own
by your own definition.
definition of what race we should be called. That's what I'm gonna go with Latin. No, black and indigenous people are who are mixed. Black, but if you find a Latin person who is mixed with indigenous and black, I still consider them Latin person.
Um, okay.
Because a lot of people's definition of being Latin, it has to derive from Spain, which it's I don't necessarily see that as being the case because you could find somebody who isn't that has no Spanish blood but is mixed with indigenous and black, and they still have the same culture, the same aspects, the same thought pattern, same ideology as a normal Latin person in the diaspora. You know what I mean?
Well, the sure. I mean, obviously culturally, um, Hispanics are very similar, especially within their own countries. That's why, in Hispanic America, and Spain to some degree, there isn't this sort of like racial tension that you see in the United States,
Yeah,
um, because uh, the people who colonized these areas were totally different. They even viewed each other as racially different. So this idea that a lot of leftists use today to describe white people, sort of like white supremacy. This thing, it never existed in the past, and I don't think it's a real thing. Um,
yeah,
but in the United States in particular, obviously there was some level of white supremacy in the past, if you want to call it that.
yeah,
Um, because, if the Africans did that to Europeans or any other group did that to another group, it's just like, it's not really called supremacy. It's just, you know, the course of human history. It's people conquering each
yeah,
other. But, in this scenario, in this case, it was Europeans who bought, these African slaves from. Oftentimes, well, yeah, Europeans bought these African slaves. Uh, Now, the people who brought them over to the Americas are not exactly European, but so it's you could call it white supremacy, but it's more complicated than that. So I understand that in American context, to some degree, but I just don't think that
Yeah,
it's.
but I want to unpack that real quick. You said you did say that that is true. Where when it comes to Latin America, there's no like concept of race. You know, it's not that heavily thought about or promoted. You're absolutely right, but there are forms of racism underneath the table. You know, in these countries, but it's so, how can I say it? It's so underground. You really have to dig deep into to just finding it. And even when you do find it and point it out, they won't call it racism, even though that's what it is. But for the most part, you're absolutely right. Only here in America, everything's basically race obsessed. With the now going back to what you said, the Spaniards, how they identified, you're absolutely right. The Spaniards never identified as white. The Spaniards never really saw themselves as part of that European class system. When you're talking about like Britain and the Italian, you know what I mean. So they didn't really see themselves as that,
Yeah, they
but
saw
they
themselves as their kingdoms
yeah,
or
yeah,
their
yeah. They
countries, their
that's what they saw
republics.
themselves. Yeah, they saw themselves as their own nation, and their own nation is basically expanding out. So I do give you that, but the thing is that there was a certain level of superiority that they did come out with, saying that my I am more superior than these indigenous people here. So when they came
But they were
to
doing
the
that amongst each other, so how could that possibly be white
well,
supremacy?
the thing is, white supremacy even still also affects white folks. That's still white supremacy. The fact that somebody's more superior and believes is more superior
But they
than
weren't
another,
they weren't considered white. The only people who were.
then another. Hold on, wait. Then another person. That's a concept of white supremacy, regardless if they don't see themselves as white. Even when, in America, Italian and Irish weren't considered white until later on. So that whole concept of whiteness is always, by plays always on the fence. You're white one time, you're not white the next. But their concept of superiority, that's the whole point that I am basically latching onto, because that concept and ideology of superiority does go down and start affecting the indigenous people that they actually came across with, to the point where they even said that if you don't bow down to the crown and give us gold or whatever the case is, you're gonna either face consequences, which would probably be lashes. Somebody will get their arm cut off and all this other stuff. So these are real things that some people like to dismiss or like to sugarcoat. But this is something very real. You know what I mean? And I am not blind to the fact that there were certain aspects us Spaniards that actually did good. I'm not blind to that fact, but let's not cherry pick certain individuals who don't represent the collective. And the collective was a bunch of colonizers that raped and pillaged our countries.
Well, I could say that you cherry pick because you tend to focus on the negative things that happened during the Spanish Empire, right? And we're talking about an empire that was enormous. So obviously, with that magnitude of an empire, especially in those days where you didn't have like
Is that cherry
smartphones,
picking? Is that cherry
you
picking
didn't
though?
have smartphones, you didn't have technology to even record all these abuses, right? I mean, this was not something that was appropriate. These are things that happen in
But
every empire.
is it really cherry picking though? If we could go down Latin Central Caribbean, Latin America, and see the majority of people speaking Spanish, which is not their original language, that's not cherry picking. The fact that they have Catholicism as their religion, that's not cherry picking. You know,
Many of them were being, and I'm sure you've heard this before. Many of these indigenous groups to the Americas were being oppressed by other indigenous groups. So, a lot of them sort of teamed up with the Spanish, uh, by choice. And there was a lot of them that, they didn't want to play ball, and some of the Spaniards took advantage of a situation But I think it's much more complicated than what you're explaining, what you're presenting.
Yeah, but we're gonna have tribalism everywhere. That doesn't explain away the subjugation of a whole group of people.
No, no,
And
of course
and
not.
force. You know what I mean? We're gonna have tribalism. There was tribalism between the Tainos and the Arawaks, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. There was tribalism between the Aztecs and so there was obviously there's tribalism, there's even tribalism in Europe and Africa. So that part of it I understand, but I just don't understand why certain people use those certain instances as to say, well, the Spanish weren't that bad if they were, if the indigenous people were subjugating each other. You know what I mean? Because it was very different from European subjugation. The native subjugation wasn't raping your whole village and burning it to the ground.
No,
And
it
I,
was
you know,
sacrificing people, sacrificing
no, that was
babies.
just no. That was
It's
certain. That was in certain areas, and they were in. That was certain areas, bro. Like in Mexico and all that. That was in those areas. Not all indigenous people believe that. They didn't practice that.
well, some did. So,
Well,
same
some, yeah.
same thing with the Spaniards. Some of them had terrible practices. But yeah. So could just for my audience, could you? And I know I keep asking you this because it doesn't make any sense to me. Uh, could you describe? Could you give us a definition for white supremacy that we can look up, or do you also have your own definition?
No, well, white supremacy is the main definition of white supremacy is people who classify as white or is classifying as white to mistreat, subjugate and abuse people who are classified as non-white. That's been the working definition for this whole time, and for some reason, people don't seem to point out or see white supremacy when it's in full effect because there are certain tokens who are put in certain power positions, and they seem to be like, well, we're not, there's no white supremacy here because we have a black president or we have a certain Hispanic person in office, and that seems to basically go away from the whole concept of white supremacy, even though those people don't have the power to actually do anything positive for their own group. So white supremacy affects all areas of not all areas of human activity, and the definition of that is subjugation within what I just basically explained.
So you're saying, but where can we find this definition? Like, what dictionary? Like, where are you getting this definition?
The same way any words get definitions. People observe it. People look at it. People see what are the concepts of these certain words being applied as a verb or adverb, and then these definitions come into play. You could find your definition in different aspects, either from the ADL or whatever the case is. But where I'm getting my definition is from the fact that I am actually seeing these sort of actions play out within a certain group of people.
Well, I mean, I think we really need a definition on this. And when you Google white supremacy, um, it says something like this. It says it's the belief that white people, um, what do you think white people means?
What do you mean? What do I think white people mean?
What do you think? What do you think that means? Like, what people is it referring to?
People from European descent. I'm gonna assume.
Um, yeah, but in the United States of America, I mean, people who are not European descent are classified also as white.
Yeah, that's to confuse us. That's to confuse us. You're classified as white. I'm classified as white, even though we're not. That's what just a way to confuse us and boost up the white numbers. We all know that. What the definition? The thing is,
Wait,
what
hold on. I've never been classified as white by anyone.
Dominican Renaissance. Come on now. By your own admission, you said that you were classified as white.
No, no, no. I've
Can you elaborate?
never been sure. I've never been. I'm a brown guy. I've never been caught like confused for a white person. People, generally speaking, people who kind of try to dig into my identity and my race, um, sort of make the conclusion that I'm mixed race, or some kind of like I don't know, something. But they don't. They generally don't know. But it's not. I don't get white.
So, when the police stopped you in that police report, uh, what did they put down? Because you said that they put down white.
I was never stopped by the police.
Dude, there was a live stream that we were a part of, and you admitted to that.
I was never stopped by the police.
Oh, okay, all right. So you admit,
I think
okay.
I think you're referring to a comment that I made saying that I made a police report and I was written down as white Hispanic.
Okay, okay. See, there you go. All right. So I'm sorry that I misrepresented your experience. I meant that's what I meant to say. So
Okay.
since we're all clear, you didn't get stopped by the police, but you were writing a police report, correct?
Yeah, so I
Okay.
mean, based off of that, basis, what, so your basis for who is white is based on who the police categorizes as white?
No, 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 no. Who?
I'm not
Because
understanding.
that's too not only simplistic, but that's neither here nor there. The thing is that the people who are classified as white, who was classifying as white, first of all, we got to see who's classifying themselves as white. That's one. Two, it's mainly European descent. We know who a white person is, for the most part. There's a lot of brown people who actually call themselves Spanish, who classify themselves as white. Zimmerman, he's half Latin and half white, and he doesn't even consider himself Latin. He calls himself, and he even said in many interviews, "I'm not Hispanic. I'm white." So those are the people who are classifying as white, who is classified as white.
So
There's
you would
many
say it's
there's
it's
many Jewish
mostly,
wait, hold up, there's many Jewish people who are obviously white, and they classify themselves as white. You know what
well,
I'm saying? So
not well. I don't necessarily think Middle Eastern people are white, but um, I can just finish this definition real quick. White people, as the belief that white people constitute a superior race and should therefore dominate society, typically to the exclusion or detriment of other racial and ethnic groups, in particular black or Jewish people. So it seems to me that this definition falls perfectly in line with the content of your channel because you sort of, and it basically, anyone who has any criticisms for black people, you sort of attack. Um, and I mean, you don't really do the same thing when people talk about Hispanics, but I mean, unless it's a white person, right? But and I've noticed, a pattern your with your talking points and the way that you uh, talk about other YouTubers, right? So, uh, off the top of my head, there's like at least like seven Hispanic YouTubers who you at some point alluded to being a white supremacist or racist in some way.
yeah.
So, do you do that for black people or Jewish people ever?
Well, Jewish is not a race. Jewish is a religion. And
Wait,
like I
so
said,
so Hispanic is a race.
again, Jewish is not a race, it's a religion.
So Hispanic is a
His
race.
to me, yes, we are. Latin is a race to me. Officially it's not, which we should make it a race, but officially it's not. But to me, yes, Latin is a race. But again, going to your question, um Jewish is not a race, as a religion. The majority of them are white.
It's
They
it's
classify
it's
as
an
white.
ethnicity.
No, it's
It's
a
both
religion.
an ethnicity and a religion. It's
No,
both
you
things.
can't have no. That's double speak. You can't be an ethnicity and a religion at the same time. It's like me saying I'm
You
Latin
can
Christian.
be if you created it.
If I'm saying I'm Latin Christian, and then I keep on correcting you, oh no 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 no
Christians
no no
don't
no,
say that.
I'm a
Jewish people
Christian.
say that.
No, I'm a Christian. That makes no type of sense.
Not
So
if you're a Christian, but it makes perfect sense if you're, ethnically Jewish and you're uh, also you also are a follower of Judaism or the other.
you're a
The,
follower. So a lot of people could unfollow that and not be Jewish. They'll be white. You know, it's like very simple. So that's a religion, not a race. Going to your question, the reason why I do go after certain Latin people who attack black folks is because one, our community, it's not even that intact for us to be pointing any fingers out, secondly, I got to check my own people when they're out of pocket. Thirdly, there's no reason for us to be attacking black folks for no other reason, because we need
who's
them for
attacking? Who's attacking black
we
folks?
we we need the people that I call white supremacists. We
No.
need them. We need them for their numbers, so we could get our own stuff also done. You know what I mean? Because our politically, our vantage point is basically non-existent. So black folks are actually starting to get their stuff, actually put into laws and actually get their stuff put together. We're again non-existent, and that's cool for them. We should definitely big them up for that.
Hold on, hold on.
But we are not getting our stuff done now. With the certain YouTubers that you said that I refer to as white supremacy, you said seven. I don't even
A lot.
remember.
It's a lot. It's like,
I don't even
yeah,
remember. I don't even remember calling
I'm
seven
sure you
YouTubers.
don't, but I
Like
mean,
like who?
they
Give me give
know.
me give me an example. Give me
Well,
seven
I
examples.
don't want to. No, I don't want to
Okay.
put people's. But there are like multiple YouTubers in this little space, this
Okay.
little corner of YouTube, in
Yeah, yeah,
which,
yeah.
I mean, they don't even have to be talking about black people, and
I
you
call him
call
a white
them,
supremacist.
yeah, it's like,
Okay.
okay,
So
or
you
do you
saying
think you're do
Antonio?
you
So you
think
saying Antonio is not a white supremacist?
I don't know, is he?
I'm asking you a question.
I don't
So
know.
is that
I
you
don't
don't
think
know?
so.
Based on everything that he says and does, you don't know. You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I
Well,
mean, if
that's
he
your.
was a white supremacist, I mean, uh, why would he even care about the Dominican Republic? I mean, that wouldn't even make sense, right? Like
You tell me. He's in the Dominican Republic right now
that wouldn't
talking
even,
about
yeah,
black
like
folks.
why would he not? I don't
He's talking about.
understand.
I don't understand either. Why is he in the Dominican Republic only talking about black folks when he should be making a Dominican group over there based on
Uh-huh.
his ideologies? But
When he
a
should be
black
doing that.
person, a black person is literally 1,000 miles away, and he's still talking about them. Don't worry about that. Worry about getting the Dominican people in the right stance, getting the Dominican people to resonate with your ideology. You know what I'm saying? He has a good enough following. He should definitely do it, but why isn't he doing it? I don't know.
I think here's something that, you know, it's something that I've noticed. It's kind of like, so what I see a lot on YouTube is that, from black people, I'm speaking specifically now, and then I'll speak about Dominicans. Um, whenever they are made aware of like Haiti, right, like the existence of Haiti, right, and the Dominican Republic, um,
Oh
and
god.
the differences between like the GDP, right? Like our GDP is like, 80
Yeah,
something billion, 70 something billion,
yeah.
and Haiti's GDP is like 8 something billion, right? So
It's lower than ours. Yeah,
it's like very, it's the poorest country on this side of the earth.
yeah. It's
So
10 times lower than ours. Yeah, I know.
so when they see that, and when they see that, and when they see that, we, Dominicans deport Haitians, they automatically assume, and this doesn't make sense to me. They automatically assume that Dominicans are participating, are being racist, right?
Yeah,
And maybe some are, but even if that was the case, right? I mean, these countries have a lot of history, and I'm not gonna go too deep into it because that's kind of
that's
a
something else. Yeah, yeah,
little
that's something
over
else.
there. But they tend to take the Haitian side, right? And this really bothers Dominicans because we're a lot of us are told by these very black people that Dominicans are also black, but it seems like it's like they say one thing, but then they behave another way and they say something differently, and it's like there seems to be no agreement amongst themselves on this on what they consider us and how they're gonna treat us, and if they're gonna look at the situation fairly. Then with Dominicans, what I see is that um, you know they basically a lot of Dominicans basically didn't even care about black people, um, you know, up until recently because black people are getting politically involved into our country, right? They're speaking more about it and they're very opinionated on it, but they don't know a lot, right? And when they give these opinions, you know, Dominicans get offended because these are not opinions that were, you know, um, these are not opinions that they came to after some deep research or anything. This is like they saw a freaking Vox video or something on YouTube
Yeah,
speaking
yeah,
badly about Dominicans, right? Not
yeah,
even a single Dominican to give his point of view.
yeah. Or a Vice documentary. Yeah,
So it's like, okay, well, so it's there's kind of a misunderstanding there, and you know, as it relates to the on YouTube, I'm gonna on YouTube you see it's just that I just think there's a lot of misunderstandings, and I think to take a sort of like pro-black position uh, is kind of it's I understand it, but I don't think that should be our main like political you know agenda. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't make sense.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think there is misunderstandings there, and I just think people need to be more respectful on both sides. But I'll
Yeah.
say this, if you know, I'm not going to do anything about Dominicans attacking black people if black people aren't going to do anything about black people attacking Dominicans, right? Because it's
Mm.
like once every black person in the world has decided that they're not going to and attack us, antagonize us, right? Cost us millions of dollars in tourism, right? Then I might take another approach, but as of right now I'm just kind of just I'm not really involved, but I'm not going to get in the way of it.
Oh yeah, that's fair. That's fair because that's your own take on it. And that's totally cool. Nobody should be defending a group if that same group is not defending, the other group that's trying to defend them. You know what I'm saying? So I totally understand that. That's a total fair
Would you
point.
agree with that?
Well, I would agree with that to a certain degree. Um, the fact that certain I'll say black folks don't understand what's happening in Haiti or the 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 dynamic between the Dominicans and Haitians. That's a fair point, and I totally agree with that because the only thing that they see is race, 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 race. If you really break it down, this is an island of mostly brown people. Talking about or deporting more browner people. What's the whole racist part about it? Because if that's the case, I can play devil's advocate here. If that's the case, if Dominicans are, they say, oh, Dominicans are racist, and the majority of the island is black, that means are they saying that black people can be racist? You know what I'm saying? That right there doesn't make any sense. So, at a certain degree, I do see there's some race involved when it comes to certain Dominicans, not all, certain Dominicans who want to deport Haitians, subjugate Haitians or whatever the case is. There's certain Dominicans who see it racially based. Other Dominicans, like my grandfather, he sees it as a nationality type of thing. He sees it as, no, this is our homeland, and they should just try to help their own things out. You know what I mean? They should stop coming in and taking our jobs and stuff like that. But he does, like my grandfather, he never blamed the Haitians to that extent. He blamed the government because he's like, they're allowing this to happen. You know, he
Okay, that's
I
fair.
believe that he told me one time he actually met a whole family of Haitians that said they literally paid whatever amount of money to an official, and
Mhm.
they just literally crossed the border
Yeah.
like nothing, and the official didn't even care. So his thing was that these officials who are corrupt don't have the same love for the country that certain Dominicans do, and that part I do see. You know what I mean? That part I do
Yeah,
see.
that makes a lot of sense, you know. It's like
Yeah,
and it's a tricky thing because Dominicans feel like if we don't talk about this issue, it's just obviously it's just gonna get worse. And but at the same time, there are a lot of companies, corporations, Dominicans that um, sort of incentivize Haitians to cross over and sort of try to take advantage of the situation,
yeah,
and it
yeah,
creates a bad situation for other Dominicans, right? So I
yeah,
think you know I think everyone who is at fault should take a percentage of the blame,
yeah.
and that's something that um,
Like
I
I
do
said,
notice that
I
it's
don't
some
want to. Yeah, I don't want to blame both sides. Both sides. We got some finger pointing to do or whatever the case is. But my thing was it. When they just talk about, like you said, when somebody just sees a Vox documentary, a Vice documentary, and they're like, "Oh shit, all Dominicans are racist." When in reality, the majority of Dominicans are just nationalistic. They're like, "This is my home country."
yeah.
We just want to protect it from invaders who are trying to eat off of something that we done. Even though I do see the other side of it where Haitians do help out the economy when they do come in. So I do see both sides, and again, I haven't put a stance in either this is bad or this is wrong. I do see both sides. I do see that they do come in, and certain Dominicans are basically kicked out of a job because you could pay a Haitian way less, and also I do see the other side where, okay, now the economy somewhat is boosted up because of those immigrants that do come in there. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah, but I mean, the economy isn't everything, right? So, I mean, the
It,
reason
yeah,
everyone has their own space. For the most part, everyone has their own space. And some people, I think most people are not willing to sacrifice their space, for money. Now, there are people who
yeah,
will betray these people, you know,
yeah,
and on their behalf, just literally sell off their space to other people. And yeah, it's just I think everyone has their own space, and they should cherish and love their own space because racial integration is not something that I'm not that old, but from what I'm seeing, it doesn't look very successful, and it just creates more problems. And it gets to a point where the conversation is so inflated with race, it's so saturated with race that you can't get anything else done. And
yeah,
you have these different groups that are fighting for power within a nation, and it doesn't make any sense to me.
yeah. I do. I don't know if segregation will be the accurate thing to say. That's I know that's what Jared Taylor likes to talk about too, a lot of the times. That I don't. Are you familiar with the Butler Plan?
No, what is that?
The Butler Plan is part of this white nationalistic libertarian ideology where the same thing that Jerry Taylor
Did you
talks
just say
about.
white nationalistic libertarian? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, I'm sorry, white national libertarianistic ideology. That's what I'm sorry. Anyway, so Jerry, they adopted parts of Jerry Taylor's ideology into this, and they called it the Butler Plan, where they cut off, I think, the northern west part of the United States, and that's exclusively for white folks. the
Okay.
the eastern part was, I think they said, was it the whole eastern part will be, I think, for Hispanics, and the rest of the South would be for blacks. So they said that that should be a good, way to do it, or something like that, right?
Whoa.
And I'm like, and I hear certain people actually, think that, segregation is a good thing because it worked in the past, or whatever the case is. And the way I see it personally, I saw that even though we were segregated, certain things did occur. We still got subjugated during that segregation. You know, um, being
Because the majority
integrated.
of the governing system was like one group. You would say it's because of that.
What group?
So let's say in the United States, right? So there was segregation, right? There was the separation, but
Yeah.
the political powers, right, were mostly European, right? So it wasn't exactly 50-50, you know?
Well, yeah, of course, and it goes back to my whole thing about white supremacy. During segregation, black people got lynched, and also Latin people got lynched. I always point out to the historical fact about in Texas, they had specific, only in Texas though, they have specific Hispanic hanging trees. Like, you can only hang a Hispanic on this tree. You can't hang a black person because this tree is only special for Hispanics for some reason. But that's what the type of thing that will happen throughout the South, even in around California. Uh, White folks will literally round up Latin people, Mexican or not. Certain people that were getting rounded up were Dominican, Puerto Rican. They get rounded up in the pickup truck and drove to the border and used as target practice while they ran across the border. So these are the we were separated, we were segregated, and those type of things still happen. So just because we'll get integrated now, or we are integrated, certain people say, well, it isn't it isn't as good as it once was. So which one is it? I don't see how us being integrated is influencing other people to adopt our culture. That doesn't happen. I don't see it
I
happening
have an
personally.
idea.
Like what?
So, and I've heard some people say this, um, and obviously this would be something that everyone has to agree to. It would be sort of like a dividing up of certain American states to different groups, right? So, Native Americans would get like a piece of the slice, Hispanics would get like a piece of the slice, and black people get a piece of the slice, and white people get a piece of the slice. And, this would be something that would make a lot of sense if these groups could actually sit down and have that conversation. But that conversation is probably never going to happen.
But how would that work logistically? Like, let's say, forget about all the groups, our group, as you say, Hispanics.
I think it's already
How
the
would that work?
case for I think it's already I mean, the thing is that in places mostly Hispanic, Hispanics tend to go into the political positions, and they and that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be better for us, but it's just, I guess it's a step closer to um sort of governing and having autonomy in our own communities with respect to
Got it.
the rest of the country. It's like
Yeah,
I already see that happening to some degree.
yeah,
I just think that you know I just think everyone needs to work together within their groups because I don't see people working together. I don't see that happening. I don't see like a black and brown coalition
Yeah.
happening. You know, because a lot of Hispanics, yes, they vote blue, but not because they're thinking about black people. They're not thinking.
Oh no,
Majority
I
of
know
them,
that. I know
they're
that.
like, yo
Yeah.
quiero mi cupones. You feel me? They're not thinking about, yeah, like,
Yeah. You're right.
so, you know, it's like, you know, I'm not gonna knock someone who's trying to better themselves, but it's like I don't want people attacking me or attacking us because we want to better ourselves, you know?
Uh, you raise a lot of good points. The whole when I promote about Black and Latin unity is because I see we mostly live in these communities together, you know, and when I'm promoting that is because the most of the things that affect Black folks are affecting us. If we inside these communities or outside these communities, it still affects us. You know, you could let's just look at, for example, Washington Heights. You know, majority, literally majority of Washington Heights is the Dominican, and you will still see parts of it, you know, affect them by redlining. Not only that, upping the rent to certain individuals in that community. On top of that, the Jews come in and start basically. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't even say that word because you probably get
Ooh, that's a
the
bad
small.
word.
Yeah, yeah. The small hats come in and start, you know, buying up the whole place, and now you'll start seeing other people that aren't you around. You know what I mean? On top of that, when you go to the school system, they're getting miseducated or funneled into special ed. So these are the type of things that I do see that both of us get affected by. You know, systematically. So when I talk about Black and Latin unity coming together as a political front and actually, you know, just trying to dismantle that. Also culturally, I don't see us as different as Black folks at certain things, you know, because the way they celebrate Christianity is the same way as ours. They cook the food with all that spices and all that same way as ours. You know, give or take certain things. You know, give or take certain things. I'm not saying that everything is the same. Certain attitudes is just like ours. You know, so that's when I say Black and Latin unity. Now, when it comes to, you know, voting, yes, Latin people majority vote Democrat. To be completely honest, I don't know why. I'm not saying that they should be voting Republican. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is the Democratic Party and the Republican Party has not given us anything to actually vote for them, because when Republicans want to basically favor us, they're going to talk about, you know, lowering taxes or whatever the case is. When the Democrat wants to favor us, they want to talk about immigration rights. Last time I checked, immigration rights isn't a Latin specific issue. So what are the incentives that they're really bringing to the table for us to actually vote for
You don't
them?
like low taxes?
Um, no, if I'm still gonna get my ass kicked, you know, all these low taxes,
Listen,
but
you're gonna
listen,
get your
all
ass
these
kicked, so at least you want to have that money in your pocket.
Yo, yeah, you're right. I have my money in my pocket while I get deported because they don't believe I'm a citizen. You're absolutely right. So I could buy my way back inside.
Like, yeah, it's like,
Yo, that's real funny. No, but dude, the thing is that, you know, the whole low taxes and getting, you know, your own business, that's good. But when you got back end type of laws that's still gonna affect you negatively, that's an issue. You understand? Like I think there was this recent report that I saw. You know, a few Dominicans got deported, and they were Dominican citizens. One of them actually served for the army, and he was a Dominican citizen, and he got deported by ICE. You know, so these certain things happen. And the thing is that we have our own people fighting for our country. When our country doesn't actually come back and actually help us out, that's an issue, you know?
I just think that, I just think that these are things that we have to overcome, right? But I also don't believe that America should be like this place that we sort of like make it our home. Like I don't think that you know obviously being in the United States is a very great economic help for us because a lot of remittances go to the Dominican Republic, a lot, and these are things that are building the country, right? So we do benefit from being physically here and working here, but I don't think that that means that we should lose our culture or lose any meaning of what it means to be Dominican, right? And I'm speaking
Yeah,
particularly about Dominicans, but
yeah.
also other Hispanic groups, because like if you say that this country doesn't really give a damn, it's like, well, why would you give up your identity, right? And it's like, you mentioned the black and brown coalition, right, coming together, for a political um, movement, right? And I just I don't I the blackness, right? Like blackness, I see it very much as some people would say that it's a race, but I think nowadays it's very much a political thing. Like I think blackness is very
Mm.
political. I think it's like a political there's like blackness is like a political category, a political movement, used to push for agendas that, people wouldn't normally in their right mind would
Well, yeah,
want to.
like Kamala Harris right now. You're right. You're right. Yeah, I agree with you at a certain point. Like Kamala Harris now, first one day she's Indian, the next day she's black. So yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So I'm seeing that, and I oftentimes I say, Dominicans are not black, and people tend to, and that's, I get it. People tend to uh they think race, right? They think race, and sure, I mean, yeah, that's part of it, but it's also a political thing that I don't want Dominicans being distracted by. I think we have because it's one thing to be black, and it's one thing to actually be black, and I think
Yeah.
those are two different things, and I don't think Dominicans should be caught up in any, kind of these political movements we're seeing in the United States that are very destabilizing for the
You want to hear
country.
something funny? Black folks are saying the same thing you're saying now. Black Americans are saying the same
Yeah, I
thing right
know.
now.
There's a lot of I know. There's like talks of like, this weird stuff that we're seeing, but that's just from my perspective. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, hey, I want to go back to what you were saying that maybe giving certain parts of the United States to certain groups of people. We have our own countries, Cuba, Dominican Republic,
Yeah,
Puerto Rico.
beautiful
Um,
countries, by the way.
yeah, yeah, of course, very beautiful countries. And the thing is, our that's our countries for the most part. Most of our people are in control of it for the most part, and it's not that better off compared to the United States. So, and to be honest, our countries are kind of used as like guinea pigs for political agendas. But the thing is, it's not that better off. So, my question, I'm gonna just ask you a question. Cutting off parts of the United States for certain groups of people, do you think that would really help out the collective as a whole?
I think it would. I think people should help themselves. So if you create a situation where people can have autonomy, right, to really uh, to really to really go as far as they can with their own will and own ingenuity and ideas and all these things. I think when you give someone the opportunity to really uh, mold themselves, uh, you see the greatest aspect of them. Um, And you see that in countries like Japan and South Korea where it's very much homogenous. Did you know that Japan is the third largest economy in the world?
I thought that was the second one.
Third.
What's the second one? Russia?
China,
China. Okay, okay, okay.
right? It's billions. It's a lot of people. Well, not billions, but it's a very, like, we're talking about this little island, you know, and what do we know about Japan? We know that Japan is homogenous, which means that it doesn't mean that they're the same race, right? There's a confusion there. Homogenous just means that the people are genetically similar. They're very genetically similar. They're all related. The Japanese people are in fact themselves mixed race to some degree. Because the people originally there, the indigenous people, at some point had some mixing with the Koreans, and that is the Japanese people today. So, Japanese people, they are very homogenous, and so that helps them a lot. I mean, when you have a homogenous society, racism is not a it's not an issue. It's not a political issue, right? It may be an issue, but it's not your politics are not consumed by this because everyone is kind of the same and you have more ability to get things done, right? And you see this, they have like their own religion sort of, and they have their own way of dressing. Their the Everything is very Japanese about them, and I think that is something that we should all strive for, and that is something that I would want Dominicans to do, is to
Yeah,
sort of discover and to strive for this Dominican ideal, of what we could be.
yeah.
And
Um,
I think every group should do that.
what do you think about um, what do you think about the reparations that certain Japanese people got in from the United States for being inside the internment camps?
Um, I'm not sure. I don't know about the specifics. I don't know like how much they were paid, or how long it was, or how cruel it was for the people, or like I know this was a very controversial thing that the United States did and participated in, and I hope those people were compensated fairly. And when we look at
Um, last
Japanese,
time last time I checked, I think they got 20,000 each. I believe that's what they got.
20,000. Okay, I
I think
I
so.
believe
Last time
that's fair.
yeah, last time I checked, I could be wrong. It could be more or less than that, but they were constant compensated. And the thing is with that, certain non-Japanese groups were actually fighting for the rights for those reparations. With that being said,
Okay.
now there's talks about black folks getting reparations. Do you at least agree with that to a certain degree? Do you think black folks should be getting reparations? If so, do you think we should help out by boosting their numbers for them to get reparations?
Um, should they get reparations? Uh, it's kind of tricky, and I'll explain why. Um, so most of the black people, well, all of them, alive today were not slaves, So I'm not saying it's not justified. I'm just saying like we have to really think about this. Um, they were not slaves, because we are talking about slave reparations. So at some point in time, this would have made perfect sense. I'm not sure if it makes sense anymore for the rest of the country, right? Because the rest of the country is gonna be paying for this, and you know, the most Americans today, uh, really have nothing to do with that. They might have some, some white Americans might have some lineage of someone who owned a slave or whatever, but we're talking about like over 90% of what we call white people in America today, are not even what would be considered white. So it doesn't really make sense today. But let's say we were in the past and it was proposed. I think yeah, they should have got something. You know, they should have got for sure. They should have got something, right? That's fair.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, cool. I see. Obviously, you could probably tell that I see it kind of differently a little bit because the way I see it is, if it wasn't for Black Americans, you know, our parents wouldn't be choosing a country like now to come here. If it wasn't for Black Americans, um, the economy wouldn't be at a certain point to be somewhat called the number one country in the world or whatever. So, I believe the descendants should at least get something out of that because they were actually, you know, their ancestors were the reason why America is America now. You know what I mean?
I guess it depends on what you know, because when I think of reparations, I think of like money, right? Like the government literally going in
Yeah,
my
yeah, yeah.
pocket, like, yo, give me your money, dog. I'm gonna give it to my homie over there, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, you stupid.
Like I just got here, Poppy. Like what you mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, 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 yeah,
but
yeah,
like if we're talking
yeah.
about like scholarships,
Yeah,
um, things like that, things of that
land
nature,
allotments and stuff like that.
grants
Yeah,
to for tech programs or
yeah,
something, something to economically actually help Black Americans. Like, yeah, I mean, who wouldn't? I don't think most people would support that, I think, but that's not how it's
gotcha.
presented. It's not really
Yeah,
presented like that. It's very
no, no,
politic.
it's presented like you said monetarily. I think some monetary aspects should go to them, but also include something else, like, you know, some land allotments. You know, the same thing that the natives got. You know what I mean? Monetary thing should be a part of it, but like I said, I don't know too much about it. I'm just you know, putting the question out there for it. But you know, I think the last thing we should even care about is how they're gonna spend the money because it's not of our business. You know what I mean? Last time I checked, if I win the lottery, nobody should be caring about what I'm gonna do with it. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I could care less.
Yeah,
I can't
yeah,
imagine
yeah.
caring about that.
Yeah, yo, not gonna lie, I probably would like build a computer from scratch and like you know, probably build it out like some supercomputer, some quantum supercomputer and stuff.
What would you do with that?
I don't know, man. You know what? They said that quantum computing might be the future. Um, and there is some good possibilities on that. And just to test the shit out, if I won the lottery, I'd probably buy a quantum computer just to buy it. You know?
I mean, you could create some like you can make it, I don't know how this works, right? But you could make you maybe code a program so like you have the perfect pickup line for every girl or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like something crazy like that. I don't know.
Yeah. That's hilarious. That's what, like, create a AI, like a female AI and a male AI, and just, you know, see how many just leave it running overnight, see what happens, and by the time it's done, like he's like the super player or whatever, whatever the case is. That that's so funny. That's so funny. That should be a game. That should be a game. Like how to pick up virtual women, and probably that should help you
It
out. You know what I
probably
mean?
exists. It probably
It
exists.
probably does. It probably
Wait,
does.
there is oh my God. I remember back in high school, there was a game on Xbox. I'm not even kidding. There was a game on Xbox where like you learn how to talk to women. I don't remember what.
Is it called Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball?
No, 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 no. I'm serious. Like a game that you buy, and then it like there's like a girl, and then you have to click, you have to press on like what you should say and how you should say it and stuff. Jeez, I mean it
That's
worked. I
funny.
mean it helped us get girls. I mean,
That's hilarious.
but yeah, that was actually
That's
yeah, that was
that's
funny.
funny. That is
Yeah,
funny. What
that's
which one was your favorite console back in the day? The Xbox, the Nintendo. What was it? Was it called the Cube? Jesus, I forgot.
the GameCube.
GameCube, Xbox, GameCube, or PS2.
Well, I had the GameCube at first,
Mm,
and then I got the Xbox like later.
what was your main game for the GameCube, and what was your main game for the Xbox?
For GameCube, it was Super. I think it was Mario Sunshine.
Oh, that was a good game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that was a
game.
good game.
I put so much time into that. And for Xbox, it was probably San Andreas. I mean, no,
Dude,
yeah, like
oh, that's oh my god. When I found out there was a hot coffee cheat,
oh
but
man,
only for the computer though, oh, I was mad. I was like, wait, what? I
oh
can't
man,
I can't do it. I can't do it. And see, somebody just said it. Smash Bros. Smash Bros was kind of my stuff.
yeah,
But
I liked it too. But if we're talking like GameCube, it was for me. It was Sunshine.
yeah, what about Zelda?
Zelda, I was not very good at Zelda.
Mm, mm, What about Halo? Were you good at Halo or not?
Um, I was okay. I got better as I got older, but
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have don't tell me you got a PS5 now.
nah, dude.
Yo, dude,
I wouldn't.
bro, I missed the whole pre-order of the PS5, bro.
Nah, dude. I wouldn't. Nah, cause it's like okay, sure, you can buy a PS5, right? But it's basically a gaming computer that you have to pay, monthly to play with. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make economic sense to me but I could see why people would want it. It's cool, I guess.
Yeah.
So let's get a
Oh yeah, yeah. Let's go back. We got
throw back
sidetracked
on
and stuff.
topic.
Yeah. Sorry about
I
that.
hope you guys enjoyed that little uh
Game talk.
yeah. So um back into what we were talking about. So thing is, with the before the Black Lives Matter riots, right? Um there were obviously groups who sort of want black people to go their own ways. And that means, that's like different things. It just depends on who you ask. But generally speaking, it means, go back to their homeland or, you know, have a slice of the pie, and do it your own way, right? Do it your own American way. Um, and generally speaking, the sentiment was sort of like, I think very much so that, people would uh, sort of jump to defend, black people. Um, and it makes sense because because of the history of the United States, right? Black people they were subjugated, they were treated badly. So other groups have spoken up for them, not because they had to, but because it was like the right thing to do, I guess. Depending on like the time period. But I'm starting to see sort of like a decrease of that, right? After these riots, I'm starting to see what some people might call anti-blackness, or just sort of more, just sort of like this dissatisfaction with the way that some African Americans have uh, acted, you know, in response to the death of George Floyd, which we now know that he was, and not to justify his death or anything, because this is a civilized society and uh, people killing someone because they're resisting arrest. I don't know too much. I don't know if that's really the appropriate response. If you're threatened, sure, but resisting arrest doesn't really justify killing somebody. But this was a man who was like, he does have a criminal record. He did commit some crimes. We've all heard how he he went to some Hispanic lady's house. You know, he put a pistol to her stomach or a shotgun or some kind of gun, and she was pregnant, right? And he sort of, told her like, let us in or your baby goes boom. And the armed robbery, things that are not great. And we've also heard that he was on fentanyl, he was on drugs, and you know the autopsy says that he overdosed or something. And that's not to say that it's justified. It's to highlight that in this situation, these are things that people should have been told, when it happened. Like these were things that we found out later on, or things that were just not covered by the media, right? And because of that, black people were in a way they were manipulated because, and I say manipulated because the narrative that was being pushed by the media was not really accurate. It was not an accurate picture of the situation. So, and then these protests happens, and it wasn't just black people. It was people from other groups. It was also Hispanics, and whites and Jewish people, and Middle Eastern. Like it didn't, just different groups of people. But when most people think Black Lives Matter, they think sort of this group, this black political group, and they think black people. So these protests have really affected the image of black people more than anyone else. So, do you think people are more racist now or less racist towards black people? And do you think it has something to do with the protest?
Man,
I'm
I
sorry,
gotta
that's very long. I'm sorry. I'm
no,
a
no, no. It's all right. It's all
very
right.
long-winded guy.
No, no, no. You're all right. Oh, geez, that's. I got my own opinions on the whole riot thing. So it. Okay, so let me just try to break it down. My thoughts on Black Lives Matter. I like the idea of the movement, but not the movement itself.
Let me just say,
And
when Black Lives Matter first came out, uh, most of the people that I knew supported it. I supported it. Right, Black Lives Matter, right? That's a statement, and it's
yeah,
no longer just a statement, right?
it.
You can no
What else?
longer say that without being political, but you can go on.
Yeah. And I agree with you with that. Black Lives Matter as a statement, I agree with. As a movement, I don't. The reason why is because uh, they have gone away from the whole part of Black Lives Matter. You know, the whole they have taken that stance and basically strip it apart into many different directions that has nothing to do with the movement whatsoever. And I'm not gonna get into details or whatever the case is, but that's for another time. So, as a movement, I'm not for it. Secondly, a lot of people tend to classify uh, random black folks when they protest as Black Lives Matter when they are not.
Okay.
There's literally been a number of incidences of residents coming out from their homes to protest an injustice that happened in their community, and they're automatically labeled Black Lives Matter. If you actually look at Black Lives Matter, the majority of them are actually white, to be completely honest with you. And also they're also majority white females. Those are the ones who are really running Black Lives Matter. To be completely honest, there was a YouTube video, and I think a face no an Instagram post that pretty much broke down the hierarchy of Black Lives Matter, and the
Mm.
majority of them were all white. You know, you actually do have some black people sprinkled in there, but that's not the point. So when they talk about Black Lives Matter, that's they're not really talking about black folks, you know. But again, that's a deception from the media, as we just talked about a few minutes ago, or what you just said a few minutes ago. That's a deception from the media. With George Floyd, I believe that it was a combination of a lot of things. Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, a few other people that also got executed by police, and George Floyd. Um, I don't like when people basically say, well, this person was, a criminal or whatever the case is to justify why they passed away. It's like basically saying the people that killed Junior in the Bronx, well, Junior was actually a piece of shit because he used to slap his mom. You know what I mean? That
Just
doesn't
just to sort of okay, so when Hispanics, well, let me not say Hispanics, I can speak for Dominicans in that sort of sense. When we find out that someone was shot by a cop or something, generally the sentiment is, and this is a Dominican thing, generally the sentiment is algo él hizo. So it's basically he probably did
yeah,
something to, get that, to
yeah.
be put in that situation, and I saw that with the case with Junior. And later we found out that it wasn't Junior, it was some other kid that looked like him.
Yeah.
But I think even just the Dominican way of looking at something like that is very different.
Yeah, 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 yeah. What? Sean Connery? The hell? R.I.P. Sean Connery. He ain't dead. Is he dead? I don't know. Anyway, so like I was saying, with that aspect of the whole thing, I don't really look at somebody's past because that person's past doesn't justify why that person is dead. We're supposed to be going through trial, be
I
you're
agree.
innocent till proven guilty or whatever the case is. A cop is not, so this is not Judge Dredd, okay? So a cop is not supposed
It's not
to,
the Wild West.
yeah, exactly, the cop is not supposed to just come in and just choose your fate for you. Was he high on fentanyl? I did see those, that the autopsy report. It seems like he was high on fentanyl. Also, he had other health conditions already related to his health or whatever. But let's be honest, it's not like he was gonna die that same day. If it wasn't for that officer or that race soldier, you know putting pressure on this guy's neck, he would have never passed away. Let's keep it 100% real. You know, would he have passed away from those health conditions and using drugs? Probably, but the fact that that officer was basically stopped the circulation or breath from George Floyd, that's the reason. That's murder right there. So that's how I see it. Um, I don't, to be honest with you, I don't believe, and many people have said this. I don't believe the whole riots were 100% about George Floyd. Let's keep it real.
Well,
We've been
it
on,
was at first, but then
well,
it's
literally
changed.
within
It
maybe
changed.
8 seconds, probably it was. Um, but remember, we were on lockdown. A lot of people lost their jobs. So there was somewhat of a frustration in the atmosphere, like saying, "Yo, what else is going to happen now?" You know what I mean? And I did see a lot of people take advantage of this type of situation for just venting their frustration, not only about George Floyd and not only about white supremacy, but they venting their frustration about what the hell is going on now. I've been locked down. I lost my job. I'm about to get kicked out. So all this other stuff is a combination of why certain people went out there and started looting and protesting or what have you. You know, that's my opinion on the whole thing. What other what other question you asked?
I asked if you believe that people are more racist now than they
Oh
were
yeah, yeah.
before. Or not. Let me not use racist. Let me say more anti-black now before, or after the protest than before.
Um,
Because I am seeing sort of like a, I do see more of that.
yeah. I I don't think there's a. To be honest with you, I don't see it as a gauge of anti-blackness before and now. I think is the same level or even gotten a little worse. You know what I mean? But again, I don't see it. I don't see it worse or better now. It's still the same. Anti-blackness, racist, whichever you want to really call it. But I that's what I do see. I haven't seen it actually gotten any better. You know, it's like yeah, I haven't seen racism or anti-blackness gotten any better. To be honest with you, I've seen it got. I'm gonna just say racism. I've seen it get worse, and not only worse towards black folks, but I've seen it get worse towards everybody around black folks. Like Latin people are getting it more now. You know what I mean? Asian people are getting it more now. So, Indians are getting it more. So I am seeing that aspect of it, you know?
Okay. And I mean, well, you said earlier that Black Lives Matter is sort of ran by these white liberal women, right?
Yeah.
But one of the co-founders is
I know.
actually
Three of them, they're like black lesbians. Yeah.
yeah, and you
They're
know,
not, they're not listen, they're just the creator of the hashtag, bro. The ones who are running the money are not, are not those three lesbian black women. Trust me.
yeah, you sure you could say that, but a lot of black people look at these women as like role models, and one of them described herself as a trained Marxist. So it
Oh,
seems
really?
like yeah, like a
Oh, wow.
trained
I didn't know that.
someone trained in the ideologies of Marxism, and I that would make sense to me because you know that group is very much Marxist. Racism itself is very much a Marxist concept. Because sure, there is racism to some degree everywhere, but sort of like this politicalization and hyper focus on race is very much a dividing ideology that uh, I think Dominicans should entirely reject, totally, completely reject.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
Just the idea of, sort of this hyper focus on race, right? So, basically explaining some group or some person being in a better position or doing well at something, and uh, basically simplifying it down to racism in every case. And I think it's an extremely simplistic way of looking at life, and it's not reality. Because, if you look at the Dominican Republic as an example, the politicians are racially diverse. There isn't a, people say that, people like to say that our country is racist or it's white supremacist or, um, I mean, these are concepts. These are not Dominican concepts. Dominicans are nationalists. They care about their land. They care about their country. Many of them don't. Many of them would just rather abandon the country and come to the United States or go to Spain or Switzerland or some other European country. But generally speaking, the people there care very much about Dominicanness, you know. And I think these kind of groups are not uh, these kinds of ideologies are just it all just kind of seems to
You
go
say
back
it's,
to Marxism.
yeah, it's like it affects Dominican people negatively.
It's yeah, it's like negating every accomplishment we have ever achieved with
Yeah.
racism, and
Yeah.
that's done to a lot of groups, and it's a very destructive way of viewing the world, and that's why I don't like words like white supremacy, because
Yeah.
sure, it's so it can be used in different ways, but that's kind of like what it leads to. That's kind of what it points
Yeah.
towards. It's like,
Well, I know this. There's a lot of people that don't like the words white supremacy. I get it. White supremacy is very accusatory. I totally understand that. White supremacy is a word that once you hear it, you're like, whoa. It kind of stops people in their tracks. You know what I mean? Um, I use it to get my point across and also call out what I need to call out. I kind of agree with you with the whole certain people need to get away from the whole racism thing because I'll be honest with you, not everything is racism. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's
I'm not
basically
gonna
that's
I'm
that's
not
a
gonna lie.
reasonable
You,
position.
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Not everything is. It's not like it's. It's like it's like you. Let's say you go to the store, right,
Mm.
and uh, you buy something for $5 and you gave them a $10 bill, and they give you $4 back instead of giving you five. Oh shit, racism. No, it's what I'm saying.
He
Like,
does that to everybody.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Everybody
He
that goes in that motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. Like he doesn't even know how to count. You know what I mean? Nah, fuck that. It's racist. So I get what, like, a lot of situations is not racism. I get it. I get there's certain situations that I even go like, no. You know what I mean? Like that's too much. For I'm gonna give you a perfect example. I think you were a part of this. Remember the live stream where Tina was having, what, the 10-hour marathon or whatever the case is, and one of the dudes came in and said, "Why y'all talking negatively about black folks when in reality, Truth Teacher and almost everybody else was kind of, whoever was talking negatively about black folks, they were being challenged and say, hey, don't say that, or whatever the case is." And he just came in and said, "Why are you talking negatively about black folks and nobody's checking y'all?" And you're like, "Wait, what the fuck are you talking about?" You know what I mean? That's
Hmm.
the hypersensitivity that I do see what you're talking about, and I do see it in certain situations where I'm like, okay, okay, chill out. You know what I mean? Like, relax. But in other instances, I do believe that's something that we should be calling out because, for the most part, and you admitted this yourself in the beginning, that Latin people, we don't really talk about race. We don't really see something like that unless it's actually brought to the table or we're here in the United States. So we're in this like lost, you know, dichotomy let me use Rancho's words. We're in this lost dialectic. No, let me stop. We're in this lost gray area where we're like, okay, we are being used as pawns politically, but also we are, also used by other groups to justify their political angle or whatever the case is, or whenever they want us around, they would just claim us to be whatever, whatever, whatever. I do
Uh,
see that. I do see that. And I do see that certain people use that as an advantage to go against either us or to put up their political agenda. I get that. But I do believe that us Latin people have to be more racially aware. We have to be more racially, cognizant of certain things that's happening because those certain things affect us as a group. Because white supremacy doesn't see us as Latin people; they just see us as non-white people who are just here, and they just need to just get. Or we're just basically a speed bump for these type of people. You know what I mean? So that's what, like I said, I do agree with you at one part, and I disagree with you in the other. You know what I mean?
well, I mean, yeah, I'm not, I'm not here to make people agree with me or disagree. I'm just proposing well, I wouldn't say different point of view, but I'm trying to some ability, I'm trying to present a Dominican nationalistic type of conversation and point of view that I think Dominicans should have because um, to some degree, in a lot of ways, Dominicans are losing aspects of their culture, their identity, you know, uh, the partners they date, like all these things are just sort of not. Dominicans think of these things as not a big deal, right? And the reality of the situation is that it's very much a big deal, right? Because if Dominicans, for example, let's say that Dominicans decide, I want to start dating other groups, I don't want to date Dominicans, and this is like this big thing, right? Or they decide, like, I'm not going to teach my kids Spanish, I'm not going to teach them Dominican history, I'm not going to explain, what Dominican means. These kinds of attitudes just hurt all of us, right? Because, like I said earlier, Dominicans abroad are very much so involved in the GDP of the country and the growth of the country when they send money to the country. But if you have someone who doesn't know their roots, someone who's not Dominican anymore, um, then it's like, well, they don't care at that point. It's irrelevant to them. So, it's like, do you want to be Dominican or not? And people will say like this is hate speech, or this is being hate, racist, or that no, that's not the case. It's like, look, when people stick within their group, they invest in their group, they do well. I mean, you see that with Mexicans, right? You see that, like I mentioned, Japanese people, right? Even when they come to the United States, right? They still their children travel from here to Japan, and they do a little business here, a little business in Japan. But this sort of idea that nationality doesn't matter is not something that I would want for Dominicans.
Gotcha. Hmm. Um. Well, let me see if I could like unpack that for a second. I agree with you at a certain extent when I hear certain Latin people.
You're starting to sound like Sophia a little bit.
Uh,
You're starting to sound like Sophia a little bit. Shout out to Sophia.
yeah, shout out to Sophia. Um, I when certain Latin people, they they're not in touch with their groups, or their their parents' groups or whatever, and they're too Americanized. I'm not saying I see them some type of way, but I already know that camaraderie. Blah, 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 getting tongue twisted. That camaraderie. You already know what I'm trying to say. That connection there. I'll just say connection. That connection. It's kind of lost a little bit. You know what I mean? That person right now could be influenced either way.
Exactly.
Based on what their environment is basically depicting. If that individual was knew about their history and also their culture from their parents or whatever the case is, at least they will have a certain stance and they won't be influenced or whatever the case is, right? They'll have their own mind made up. I do see where you come from with that. I don't see it wrong when certain Latin people want to date outside the Latin race. I don't see that as wrong, because as long as a person knows if they do have an offspring, they will at least have that offspring. At least, okay, you are American and you're half Latin or whatever the case is. At least I'm gonna teach you Spanish. I'm gonna teach you some of your culture. I'm gonna teach you this and this and this. So at least they'll have, you know, they'll have two things that make them them. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, whenever people talk about, I want to date outside, my race, they automatically think, oh shit, your Latin identity is gonna be, diluted and stripped away, which is not necessarily true, because there's a lot of half Latin people that I know personally who you would think are 100% Latin the way they act. They like to prove it that they're more Latin than anybody else. You know what I'm saying? I know somebody who is half Puerto Rican, half Japanese. Believe it or not, insane, right?
Mm.
She looks Filipino, by the way, which is kind of weird. I know somebody that is like half Dominican, half black. Someone else who is half Mexican and half Arab. So all of those things, they still have their Latin identity and also the Latin culture mixed with the other culture, the other half. You know what I mean? So I don't see that as a negative thing. If it's based on the home, to be completely honest. If the home is intact and the their parent they know the culture or whatever, and they're willing to teach it to their offspring, by all means you should do it, because then you'll have somebody confused out here that could be literally influenced either way. They might just say, oh, I'm fucking black, and just start saying things that have nothing to do with their experience, or just say, hey, I'm fucking white, and saying things that has nothing to do with their experience. You know what I'm saying? You can't have it both ways. You know what I'm saying? So at least if you have a sense of culture and sense of identity, you actually at least would know, okay, so I know where I stand. I know where I should be going. You know what I mean? And I should be at least, okay, I'm a rock over here. I'm a rock over there, for based on whatever their stance is.
Um, I'm not necessarily saying that every time people decide to uh, sort of share their culture, by having children that are bicultural or biracial. I'm just saying that when this happens, and some of it is naturally, this is something that's always happened throughout human history to some degree, and then some of it is kind of like promoted, right? Like when you see an advertisement and it shows people of different races, they're like a couple, and it's like, really? Like, is that really something that's common in America? Because in the United States of America, most people date within their own race. So that I wouldn't see who they're trying to appeal to,
Yeah.
with those kinds of commercials and
You
things of
you
that nature.
actually you'd be surprised. You're starting to see a lot of interracial, or some people will call them interracial, mixed race couples out here. Actually, I'm starting to see them a lot. Actually, to be
It's
honest.
it's becoming very common. It's very common among Hispanics. It's common among Europeans. It's common among Black people and Asian people. This is something that happens,
Yeah.
especially in the United States, especially here. And when that happens, you sort of have to I I don't know. I see it as like two cultures being split. I don't see it as two cultures being amplified. I
Yeah.
see a confused child who is never going to be sure what side he or she is on, and will never really have a direction to go towards, right? And sometimes you'll
Yeah.
see that a lot of mixed people, they choose one side, and there's always going to be people who are accepting, but there's always going to be that doubt, of like, am I really accepted?
Yeah.
And I just feel like it's something that creates so many problems. But within certain groups, it works better, than other groups. It tends to work fine in Hispanic groups. Well, in Hispanic countries, right? Because if a Puerto Rican goes to the Dominican Republic, they're basically absorbed, and vice versa. And if you look at Dominicans in Puerto Rico, you might not even think they're Dominican, right? Because they sound Puerto Rican, and they just the
Yeah.
way they speak makes them even look more Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
So this kind of thing is normal, but in the United States, it's very amplified. It's turned up to the max,
Hmm.
and it's confusing a lot of people. It's confusing a lot of people because America doesn't have these definitions of what it means to be, Dominican, or what it means to
Yeah,
be this or what it means to be that. So I just see people that are very confused and really are falling prey to ideologies that, maybe someone who
doesn't
grew up
align. That doesn't align with them,
doesn't
right?
align with, yeah, it doesn't align with either
It
of their
and and
cultures.
and and this is what I keep on saying. Latin people, we need our own race. Um, you have certain Latin people calling themselves, Afro Latinos. You have other groups calling themselves Euro Latinos, Hispanic this, Hispanic that, Latin, or whatever the case is. We need our own racial classification because this does cause confusion. To be completely honest, you have some white Latinos who can either pass for white or not even pass for white. They just have white skin, but they look ethnic, and they don't get accepted within white groups. Also, you have black Latinos who, look black in the face or sometimes not even look black. They just have dark skin and they aren't accepted in black groups for the most part. So
Okay.
we need our own racial classification. This doesn't mean that we can't align or ally ourselves with other groups to either help their cause or help our cause. I'm not saying that, but we need our own racial classification because we are in a confused state. Whenever that race topic gets brought up, let's be honest, with most Latin people, we leave that box blank. They fill it out for us. They put white in everything. So that's why I keep on saying to curb that confusion, we need to have our own racial classification. What racial classification that would be, I have no idea. We have to come up with that on our own, brainstorm it. I don't know. But we at least need to come up with something collectively so we could at least get on code with that and keep on presenting it to the higher powers to actually put that as a racial identity. Because with racial identity comes a political movement and political power, and we won't be as confused and as swept under the rug as we are now.
I understand that. I understand that argument, and uh, I think part of the reason why you see so many people say that Hispanics are not a race is um, because like the thing that we have in common are that we have Hispanic, we have Spanish ancestry, and you can also throw in the indigenous ancestry, um, which is sort of something that's associated with Hispanic. At some point in history, this started to become a part of what is Hispanic, and it's kind of like it's weird. We are all Hispanics, you know, so we're all racially Hispanic, but at the same time, we're different kinds of Hispanics, right? Same thing with Spain. Spain Spaniards are a different kind of Hispanic. Dominicans are a different kind of Hispanic.
Wait, you're
Mexicans,
lumping Spain into the Hispanic category?
well, even in the United States, they're lumped in with us, and I mean, logically speaking, I mean, they are Hispanic. So I
No, but they're
that's
from
why.
Europe. Aren't they white?
Well, it depends who you ask, but Hispanic supersedes race. Um, so eh,
Oh, because you're saying it in a nationalistic type of way, right?
yeah, I'm saying that
Okay, got it, got it.
a nationalistic. I believe, and very much believe this, that a nationalistic Hispanic perspective is better in general for Hispanic people, and I still think we can, within our own identities, within our own cultures, our own racial pools, we
Yeah.
can work together as a Hispanic political force, right?
I personally,
Because then
well,
we're not
I
subject to
if you're
other
seeing it,
groups.
yeah, if you're seeing Spain um in a nationalistic type of way with all the Latin American countries, then I will agree with you on that part. But personally, I'll disagree with you with having Spain anywhere near this conversation because they already have their own thing, and that's Europe. You know, they're part of the EU. That's their own Europe thing. They shouldn't even be even called or classified as Hispanic anything.
You could
Um,
say the same
I,
thing with black people. I mean, I hear a lot of Hispanics say that, black people have Africa. Why do they want this, unity? Why are they here?
well,
Why?
we're talking about Spain at the moment right now. We're not talking about
Yeah, I'm
black
just
folks because
saying that's what a
you
lot of
know,
people would say.
well that's on
Why
them. But
have
we're
black
talking
people
about
in the conversation
yeah,
when
we're talking about Spain right now. So
okay.
there's certain people that do include Spain in this whole Hispanic conversation, which is cool. And I do seem to always see the trend where somebody calls themselves or classify themselves as Hispanic and always aligns with Spain, saying that they're
Not
also
always.
Hispanic too. Not for the most part, not always, but majority of the time I do see that sentiment happen. Me personally, if we're talking about our country and being Latin and coming together, Spain should be nowhere near that conversation because the last thing we need is the the oppressor and the oppressor in this type of conversations when they
But
haven't
don't
done anything to actually help us out. You know what I'm saying?
but don't you see how what I'm saying is preventing that? Because if you're what you're saying is that we should all just be Hispanic. Doesn't matter. Right? But if we should all be Hispanic, Spain is automatically included. Whether you like it or not, Spain is going to be included because they're really like the original Hispanics, right? And we have been Hispanicized, right? Or
If
the
that's another
people that are
word,
mixed in with us.
if that's another word, Hispanicized, if that's another word for saying colonized, then yeah, I agree with that because we know their language. They forced it upon
Colonize is
us.
a very simplistic explanation, but sure.
Hispanicized is a very romantic way of doing it.
It's not a
Because
romantic way, it's a specific way.
you could say so when you say Hispanicized, you mean by having the Spanish language, the
Spanish
Spanish religion.
language, genetics,
Yeah,
culture,
well,
like
there you go.
everything,
That's
encompassing
colonized. You
everything.
you you see how you're trying to just say colonized, but in a really romantic way. So it's kind of the
I'm
same
not,
way.
no, I'm just explaining why we are Hispanic. Like,
Like
how did we become Hispanic? Or
I
how
said
did
before, I
people
don't
in the
think
Americas become Hispanic?
like I said before, I don't think that we should be including Spain because there's plenty of articles and even quotes and even what was statements from Spaniards themselves that say they don't want nothing to do with us. They don't want nothing to do with the word Hispanic, the term Hispanic. There's certain Spaniards that even have Quora quotes that I've seen that said, "When I come to the United States, I am not Hispanic. I am white." They
You
say
know
it
why? You know
themselves.
why some of them say that?
Why?
Because they are liberals and they hate the Spanish Empire and everything that has to do with that. So that's why you'll see some Spaniards sort of say that, but it's not like an attack or a diss on Hispanic Americans, if that's what you're trying to say.
Okay.
You know,
Um.
it's like what I said, right? So Spaniards, uh, in in the type of idea that I'm proposing, right? Spaniards would focus on their communities, right? You don't have a lot of Spanish interference, and but with what you're proposing, there's more Spanish interference because the lines are blurred, right? It's you cannot people are not going to agree on what that even means. It's impossible for people to agree on what that means. And if they do agree on what that means, it's automatically going to include Spain. It's definitely it already does. It already includes Spain. So
Yeah.
when people focus on their nationalities, right?
Yeah.
you have more cohesive, groups. You have groups that, like I said, they're just doing everything their own way. It's like it's healthy competition between Hispanics.
Okay.
I think it hurts us to not do that.
Okay. So okay. Well, I would just agree to disagree on that point. Because again, I don't see what benefit we will get out of including the Spaniards into this.
It's not so much about, it's not that I'm making an argument to include them. It's that they will be included. They
My
are
point is
included.
my point is they shouldn't be included, and they're
Okay.
not included based on their their own sentiments of us. That was my point. Based on what they even say. I don't think we should even be um thinking about including Spaniards into any Latin conversation, but again, to each his own. We could agree to disagree on this in this point, um
Yeah.
some now some benefits that might come out of it, I don't know. um I always see some benefits always coming out of any conversation, you know um it wouldn't hurt to have the Spaniards in a conversation of you know Latin inclusion, but putting them a part of it, I think I think that's too much, you know.
Okay. I get that point of view.
Yeah. Any more questions, bro?
Let's see here. Um, hmm. I know this is a little off topic,
Okay.
but what do you think about people who want to unite Haiti and the Dominican Republic? What do you think about that?
Ugh. Logistically, I don't know how that will work. It's a great idea. Um, but it's gonna cause too much problems, I believe. Uh,
So a bad idea.
it
A good
it's
in theory, but bad in
it
in
yeah,
practice.
okay, yeah, good in theory, bad in execution. There's there's a lot of Haitians that are saying hell no.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Haitians that say hell yes. There's a lot of Dominicans that say hell no, and there's a lot of Dominicans that say hell yes. But to be completely honest, I don't think, dude, logistically, how would that work? I don't even know. Um, Obviously, okay, okay, so all right, so you're okay, so I can't believe I'm about to say this. So okay, so I'm Haiti, right, and you're Dominican Republic, right?
Okay.
and your GDP obviously is way higher, right?
Hmm.
So if me and you come into the table and start talking, logistically speaking, you will absorb me
Yeah.
because of your GDP alone.
You lose.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So okay. So now this is where logistics come in to it. After that happens, right? Um, the After that happens, you absorbing. So that means you will be absorbing my debt. On top of that, what the debt that you have,
No,
wouldn't
it
that?
wouldn't be our debt because that would be Haiti's debt.
But there's no hating no more if you absorb,
Exactly. There is no
me.
Haiti, so there is no debt. There's only, you know,
Listen, the debt's gonna have to get paid, bro. They're gonna come for
this
somebody.
wouldn't be something peaceful. This would be a power grab in every scenario.
Yeah. Um. Maybe. Maybe. Um. Okay, yeah, I do agree. Okay, yes, a power graph. I do see that. Um, as as absorption. Okay. So we're talking about countries here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absorptions, power grab. Uh, um. Okay, so I do see your point.
We wouldn't, obviously
Okay, I do see your point.
the Dominican government
Yeah.
wouldn't look at it as like, how do we do this caring about, how the Haitians feel about it. It would be more like, who are we going to sell this part of Haiti to?
But why would you want to sell it if you just absorbed it?
I mean, well, not the actual
You
land,
know,
but like,
oh,
for
the debt.
businesses, for foreign
Okay,
investors, right?
yeah, okay, I would. All right, I would see that.
I
I
mean,
would
it would hurt us, but
because
it would
listen,
hurt them
mind you,
more.
Haiti compared to land size, Haiti is a small country compared land size to Dominican Republic.
And you know
It's
that Haiti has more land that is supposed to have, right? Like they have pushed the border, so it's actually smaller than
oh,
it looks.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, but still, for the size of that it has, uh, again, I don't see it. Again, I don't see logistically how is that gonna benefit. But I don't see it. Again, on paper, it sounds great. You know,
Well, I wouldn't say on paper.
uh,
I wouldn't
I
say on
do.
paper. It
Okay,
sounds terrible.
well, okay. All right. Like I said, on paper, it sounds great, but logistically speaking, I don't know how that would resonate. How would it improve both sides? I don't know how that will come across. On top of that, the certain sentiments that uh, share with one another, that would be another aspects of it. Also, that would that would that would
Apparently, Trujillo cut off a chunk of DR and gave it to Haiti. I wouldn't
oh
be surprised.
I okay I guess I'm not up on my Trujillo history, but I guess so. I guess so. So Dominican Renaissance, are you against? Obviously, you would be against uh um uh Dominican Republic absorbing Haiti, right?
Of course, I wouldn't want Dominicans getting into some like, war for, I
But
would.
what if it's not a war? What if it's just like, okay, this is some paperwork that we could sign.
That's not.
Now
That's not.
Haiti's Dominican Republic. You don't think
That's
that will
not the
work?
sentiment in the. I don't think most Dominicans are looking at it like that.
Okay,
Right, and Dominicans never have looked at it like that, and for good
okay,
reason, right? Because Haiti, at some point, occupied, our side of our island, and it was terrible. And that's why the Dominican Republic, the country, exists today because they rejected it to such a degree that they created an entire country, or
yeah.
like around being Dominican, right, and being against like
But
this.
would you agree that the Haitians actually helped free some of the other Latin countries around the area?
That's not relevant to us.
Okay,
You know what I mean? Like that's not like we don't care. Like
okay.
you know what I
Fair
mean? It's
enough.
like if they did us dirty, I could care less how you helped someone else. You know what I mean? It's like this is personal.
Got it. Got it.
So yeah, I
Um,
think it's a terrible idea. I cannot see that being a good situation. And like I said, I wouldn't want Dominicans getting into some war. Like I don't think getting into wars is a good idea. I think we should focus on building our economy, um, right? And we can learn some things from Switzerland, right? And it's not something that I would want.
um, I don't think. Okay, so certain aspects of other nations are good to adopt, but not everything. I'm gonna just give you an
Certain
example.
aspects, yeah.
I'm gonna give you a certain example in the United States. In Utah, they started this homeless program where they build like a small community, right? And they
Mm-hmm.
just basically housed homeless people there, and they basically said to you will live here rent free. You don't have to pay for lights, you don't have to pay for gas or anything. The only thing we need for you is to find work, and once you find it, let us know, and we will help you save so you could actually move out and get back on your feet. This program ended up, it started around 2016, and this program became so successful that they implemented that program all throughout Utah. Now, Las Vegas tried to do the same thing.
Okay.
It, it ended up failing within 6 months.
Okay.
The you're gonna laugh. The certain people that were housed in this part of Las Vegas ended up ripping off the pipes and the copper off of the wall off of the walls.
What the hell?
Yeah, and selling them off. Okay, but let's not worry about logistics here. So in Las Vegas, it didn't work, and they ended the program within 6 months. In Utah,
Okay.
it worked perfectly, and it ended up, get going all around throughout, the state of Utah. Now, adopting the certain economic benefits of, let's say, Switzerland, as you gave an example for, it might work for the Dominican Republic. It might not, because remember, Switzerland has its own economy based on the certain things that their people need and certain areas that this place is located. So, with that being said, what are the Switzerlandians? I guess that's how you call them. I guess. What are their prime, gripes or benefits that they actually, what's their main import or whatever the case is. We have to look at all of this logistically to even try to adopt a certain aspect into our, theoretically into our country. Hey, I could be completely wrong. It could probably work out 100% great. You know what I mean? It could not. So we really have to really look at the the breakdown, of everything to actually try to see if this is actually something beneficial for a said country. Let me give you an example. You know how long United States try to get socialism to start off, and it really didn't pan out that well. You know what I mean? It like free healthcare for, just to even name that, in Canada, a lot of people say it works great. In Europe, a lot of people say that shit sucks. So we see both countries with the same, political, free healthcare plan, but as you can see, both different outcomes and sentiments from the people within those countries with the same thing. You know what I mean? So really got to see if uh, Switzerland will, the benefits of Switzerland will actually help out Dominican Republic. Do you have like any examples that maybe Dominican Republic could adopt from Switzerland?
Well, I didn't want to interrupt you, but when I mentioned Switzerland, I mean in terms of like staying out of conflicts. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay, okay.
Like I think that's a smart thing to do. And there's not much that I know about Switzerland. I just know that it's a multi ethnic country, which is interesting. It's obviously it's a European country, but it's a multi ethnic country. Um, and it looks like it has a nice standard of living and stuff. But that's kind of what I was referring to. Uh, Sort of like this idea that they don't get involved in conflicts. They kind of just sit back and watch the money roll in. And I think um, I think Dominicans could learn a lot from a lot of different countries, and that's kind of sort of what I'm saying in a way. It's kind of like, hey guys, uh, racial, ethnic, cultural integration, whatever you want to call it, does not work. Most of the time, it does not work. It just makes things worse for everybody, right? And I see that firsthand in the United States. It's just a mess. It's a mess.
Um, okay, I see your point. I do see your point. I I do agree. Staying outside of conflicts would be a strategic benefit for a country. You know what I mean? As a political benefit, I think certain countries need to ally with other countries that are also neutral in certain stances for our economic profits to grow. I don't know if you agree with that, but I think that's something at least we should, or that country should, do, or I think that's a good idea. Um, I I remember. I think throughout. I think I remember in history, a history class. I think they said United States during the war before World War II. United States was very was neutral
Mm.
with the war, and but yet
They were dragged into it.
they were yeah they were giving weapons to I think the enemies or something like that, and Japan
Yeah,
found
yeah.
out and they got mad, and that's why Pearl Harbor happened. But these countries being neutral without secret interference, I think is a good thing. I think politically it could help out. Also, aligning themselves with other neutral countries will also be a beneficial thing to do.
Now let me give you a scenario.
Okay,
Let's say the Dominican Republic takes a stance like this, right? I think
okay,
it would be much easier for me to get the Dominican Republic to take a stance like this than it is to get all of Latin America to take that same stance. I very much view Latin America as already like united. So if one Latin American country does something that works, then just like in the United States, we should try to replicate that. Things
yeah.
that work
Hmm.
for us.
Um.
And I think like this sort of nationalistic view is I don't think we're divided. I mean, we have been divided. Definitely we were divided and we became different cultures and different groups and different people ultimately.
Yeah.
But I think that now that we know that, now that we realize we have been divided, once we learn our history, there is so much room for us to work together and to have healthy competition.
Um. Wow. I see. Okay. I do agree with what you're saying. I would probably. Okay, so Latin America on its own, I don't think is that united, because they do have their little political conflicts
Could be more
here
united, yeah.
here and there. But as a um as a forefront, Radical is going to cut this interview up. No, no, I'm not. um, as a united front, um, it does need a little help. I think one or two countries, for example, let's say Dominican Republic and Cuba. Let's just say I'm just putting it out there, right? Dominican Republic and Cuba, if they have that certain stance that you're proposing, I think that would be really great because not only would it show solidarity within the Caribbean, Latin American countries, but it would show that okay, these two countries could get it done and look at their economic GDP grow, you know. And I think that would be something great. I think your idea is actually a pretty well thought out. But I don't know how. I believe other South American countries will probably try to adopt the same thing and see how that goes, like any group,
Mm-hmm.
if we see one person doing something different from the outside group and it's working for them, and then they see
Mm-hmm.
another person do it, and then another person do it, and they're like, wait a minute, Dominican Renaissance is, holy shit, he's doing great. Let me try to do it. Then the whole group will start doing it. So I think, like I said, I think it takes more than one to do it, but to be an example. And I think that would be a good stance to go to. So I do agree with that.
Yeah, I feel like we're already to some degree doing that, right? I mean, we're
Yeah,
having Hispanics from all over the place who are sort of we're all proposing our ideas of what Hispanic unity would look like.
yeah,
Um, and everyone, and it's already happening. You know, we are already doing that. The
okay,
conversation is already being had.
yeah,
So, yeah, from here on, we can, really take off and better our societies.
yeah.
But, most importantly, I just think we need to be better at not getting distracted. I
Yeah,
just feel like
I agree with you because I think that whenever somebody talks about Latin unity, they like to bring in little secret agendas, and then they like to talk about LGBT rights and all this other BS. You know what I mean?
across the board,
Um, yeah. So if we're talking about Latin unity, let's focus on Latin unity. How would that look like by actually putting our little differences aside and actually seeing what's going to be good for the collective as a whole? Especially here in America. Um,
hmm
overseas. Ah,
it's harder. It's much harder.
yeah, they have their own it's pretty much their things are set in stone. Can it be changed? Maybe.
At this
But
point, probably
yeah, but I'm talking about here in America, and I think that's what
in
you're referring
America.
to. So I think that here in America, Latin people, especially first to second generation, a little bit more, we are more of a I'm gonna I'm, we're more of a mold. We can be okay. We don't come from that of our parents' countries where we are messing up or whatever the case is, or we're seeing poverty. We're somewhat, let's be honest, we're somewhat privileged. So because of that, I think we are a little bit better off having the conversation to actually unite and actually have our own thing happen. Because outside influences will try to come in and infiltrate us. For example, you're Latin X, you're Latin A, like, no, stop. We're not talking about dumb shit like that. We're not talking about you don't have no gender. We're not talking about that. We're talking about uniting as Latin people. If you want to talk about gender stuff, we'll have that conversation after we talk about Latin people. So sit your non-gender ass down, all right, because you're still Latin, and let's talk about that instead of just try to redefine what a Latin person is with A X Z Q P. You know what I mean? So let's talk about uniting first, because I do see there's a lot of infighting within our group over stupid
I
stuff.
hate to see it. I hate to see
It's
it.
over stupid stuff, and sometimes
You
it's
hate to
even
see it.
amongst, yeah, even amongst Dominicans themselves, like because a certain person doesn't speak Spanish the right way. What? You know what I mean? I was like, what? Another like, actually, I went and got my hair cut, right?
Okay.
And I'm in the Heights, and mind you, this dude is having a full blown argument with another Dominican dude and saying all the negative things about Dominican people. Mind you, he's Dominican himself.
Uh huh.
Yo no puedo estar aquí. Ustedes, nosotros no podemos tener nuestra cosa y todo. Like, he's like, oh, we can't get our shit together and all this other
Uh
stuff.
huh.
And I'm like, what? Just because his he wasn't treated right in the restaurant or whatever the case is, right? And mind you, this barbershop is connected to a restaurant, so you could literally hear everything. So I'm like, yo, what the hell is up with this dude? Are you serious? Mind you, he
That's
is
so
dissing.
Hispanic.
Yeah, he's dissing his own people. By the way, this is the same barbershop that used to have get your hair cut and get a tattoo in the same time. All right, but anyway, so um, I'm like, yo, what's up with this dude? He's basically dissing his own people.
Uh
You
huh.
know what I mean? And and he basically walked out of there, and he flat out, he said that if this was a Jewish spot, I will be treated differently. And I'm like,
Oh,
damn.
he was mad. He was big mad.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, that's, but I do see that inner fighting within ourselves that I don't think we should be having, because not only do our enemies win because of that, but we lose. And now we're opening the door for people to infiltrate us and really use us as puppets,
Yeah, now it's
which
the
we
time
don't
they
need.
start to show up.
Yeah, we don't need that, dude. We don't need the small hats to come in and let us know what it is. We don't need these other people with X's and Q's and P's to come in and tell us what it is. We don't need none of that right now. We already are politically, let's be honest, we're politically lazy. We're not unified politically. So we don't need somebody else with a different agenda that's not going to benefit us trying to come in and infiltrate, you know?
Yeah, I just feel like this is just a natural progression of Hispanic destiny or our destinies. Is to we've been in a I don't know if bad is the word, because even though we have been in a kind of crappy position for decades, centuries now, um, we've managed to maintain our joy, our faith, and our cultures, our identity, all these
That's true.
things.
Listen, we're beautiful people. We are people that will end up getting basically not only infiltrated, but we're people that will get basically try to get dismantled, and we will come back together and create something beautiful. It might take a while, but it still happens. We have that diversity, we have that culture that keeps us together and keeps us going. And I think that's something that we should really be proud of. Let's not be embarrassed about it. We should be definitely proud of it.
Hmm. So yeah,
Why is everybody saying, is this radical Latino? Yes, it is. What the fuck?
it's because with YouTube, it's very you don't get to see everything on
Viewer,
YouTube.
little hats, radical Latino, you don't talk like that. What are you up to? I don't know what you're saying. This is the maybe this is the other side of me. I don't know. I don't know what you're referring to.
It's just that
Radical is becoming based. Oh hell no, not even close, not even close, bro.
wait, hold on. That reminds me of that video you posted.
What about it?
Oh my gosh, that's foul. That's
What about
so
it?
I don't know. It was just like I just saw it. I was like, "Yo, this guy just like I'm not gonna say it, but
Just say it, bro. Just say it.
I do not feel comfortable saying that." But he said,
Write it to me on Instagram if you don't, and I won't read it. I won't read it.
"No,
Just write it to
dude,
me on
no,
Instagram.
dude. The guy, the Asian guy, he says this is a
Yeah.
zone."
Okay.
And that's wild,
What do you
and
do? You know why I uploaded that? Okay. So there was kind of all right. So I made a mistake by uploading that video without commentary on it. I should have put some commentary towards the end of it to basically break it down on what my thoughts were. My mistake was to put it in the description, and which I already know a lot of people don't read the description. I already know this.
yeah,
If it's not in the comment section, nobody's gonna read that. So
yeah,
I was like, oh, Jesus. A lot of people were either criticizing me, saying, "Yo, why would you upload something like that?" Other people were like saying that, I don't know who this radical dude is, but is he so and so? You know what I'm saying? So the reason why I uploaded that video, even though with the mistakes that I just pointed out, was because I wanted to show that white supremacy doesn't mean that you have to be, white. You could still be part of a non-white group and be their buffer and be their little puppet, to regurgitate those type of point of views. And I should have done a commentary at the end, but it is what it is. I already done it. It is what it is. But that's the reason why I I put that video out there, and I put it for what it is. By it actually getting 25,000 views in like 2 days,
That's the
I
crazy
did
part.
I did not expect that to actually happen. Um, I got a lot. Listen, I got like 130 something subscribers out of that. Okay, cool.
Wow.
I don't know if 130 something of those are actually,
They want more content.
I don't know if 130 of those are actually those type of people that want like racially charged content or or what. I don't know, but based on that video, everybody else was kind of seeing all my other videos to the point where they were like, "Oh, okay, we kind of know what this guy's about."
Hmm.
So I'm not gonna subscribe. I'm gonna thumb down the video. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So with that being said, like it was a gift and a curse. Uh, waking. Okay, so I also got another criticism that I they said that I was limiting free speech on the comments.
Huh.
Um, so okay, so I I uploaded that video literally at 10 o'clock at night. Mind you, I'm in New York. I literally went to bed an hour after that. I woke up the next day. It had at the time that I woke up, it had 15,000 views, and I said, "Whoa, what the hell?" And like 500 comments or whatever the case is, and all of it was based.
Yeah.
And like the somebody would write the letter N. Somebody would just write the letter N, and somebody right below it would put I, and
And
then
then G, and
G.
then G.
Like I'm like, Jesus Christ. So I'm like, what the hell is going
They're
on?
creative with it.
Yeah. So I ended up finding out that most of my video was being shared through Reddit and 4chan.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. So I'm like, all right, so I'm gonna have to monitor this comment section. And I put the comment section like if people write the certain word or whatever the case is, it'll automatically get deleted. So I was doing that, and certain people got mad saying that you're deleting the comment, you're limiting my free speech. I'm like, whatever, it is what it is.
Just to
But it's
put
my
that out
listen.
there, I don't think you've ever deleted a comment I left on your video.
Yeah, I
So
haven't. So it's just
I don't know.
the thing is the comment section became very very I'll just say
Became based.
yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Okay, yes, the comment section became very based, and I got triggered. No, I just didn't. I was shocked. I was like, God damn. And I took control of it. And if it was the bad way of taking control of it by limiting free speech, then so be it. I don't care. But it is what it is. Why is everybody surprised that this is me? Why is everybody surprised about that? Everyone is shocked to see you being so civil. Oh,
It's
I
because this
guess.
is a different like format. So when I was on your channel, it was kind of like civil as well. Like when we had the interview, it was like civil.
Yeah.
So it's a different
It's just
format
yeah, it's just two people, having a discussion. Doesn't really matter. A different point of views. We're not arguing, we're not doing whatever the case is,
because as Hispanics, that looks bad. It looks bad just because, I think that's one thing that as Hispanics we could work on is like being able to disagree and be civil. I think
Yeah.
we should be able to like just have any conversation full like just any conversation about anything
And this
and
is what I want you to tell your friend Antonio. Tell him to have a conversation because me and him used to have before he went viral. Me and him talked on the phone for 2 weeks. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah. Yeah. I said it on one of my videos. Me and him talked for 2 weeks. I was just trying to get to know him a little bit more. He was giving me his point of view, and we basically we were having a conversation just like that. He did get heated a little bit throughout it. But at the end of the day, we were just having a discussion. When he went viral, he did feel some type of way on why I made a video about him right
Mm-hmm.
after, and I totally understand. Well, he didn't feel some type of way why I did it. He felt some type of
Mm-hmm.
way because I didn't let him know that I was gonna do it. And wasn't aware that I was supposed to let him know. You know what I mean? I'm like,
I mean,
okay.
if you know the person, it's just
You're right. No,
you
you're
if you can
absolutely.
contact the person, that's what I would do. I don't know.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I should have done that. I should see. The thing is, my okay. So my issue is that since I started this whole YouTube thing on my own, and my whole podcast on my own and stuff like that, and I didn't feel like, okay, I need to talk to somebody, which I do tend to have that issue. Even in my personal life, I tend to like hold things in, not to talk too much about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I should have at least reached out saying, hey, Andy, I'm gonna talk about you. I'm gonna do a video on you on this whole thing. I should have done that. But I don't, I like, like I didn't know I was supposed to do that. But then again, I understand where I come from with that. I have that issue, with that being said, um, while we were talking, everything was cool. We were just basically getting to know each other a little bit more, and just I was getting to know his ideology. But after he went viral, maybe a couple of days, he just hits me up and tells me, "Hey, I'm not gonna be around for much long." So I'm like, "What, is he gonna kill himself? What the hell?" So
Hmm.
I was like, "What the hell?" I deleted those messages, to be honest. I don't know if he has them, but I just said, you know what? I'm out of sake of I don't know, like journalistic integrity, whatever, integrity. I can't even speak right. Whatever. Um, Out of that, maybe I was like, you know what? Let me just delete them. So I ended up deleting our conversation, our WhatsApp conversation. But um, I just, like I said, if he wants to sit down and have a live like we're having right now, and just have a conversation, we could definitely. I'll be down. I'll be down. I think it'll be epic. I'll definitely be down for that. I know. I know he doesn't like the fact that I had an interview with his nephew. Um, I know he probably sees that as a little foul, and I totally understand if he doesn't even want to have a public sit down with me. But I think that will be at least good, so we could have a better understanding, because that's all to me personally. Everything that he says is like, dude, like more, you have a lot to offer. You know, Dominican people, if you really care about them over there in Dominican Republic, get something going. Why so focused on black folks 1,000 miles away? They literally are not affecting you whatsoever. So just focus on creating a movement or whatever the case is to better the Dominican Republic, because he's in a great position to do so, but
Hmm.
then again, I might be talking out my ass on things that I don't know nothing about. So I don't know.
Um. Yeah, I mean, I guess if he's over there, he's in a better position to reach out to Dominicans, and educate them, because a lot of Dominicans are not, they don't get a great education. So that's, I guess that's one of the things we could work on, is sort of getting that education to Dominicans, but not just throwing money at the education system, but like being actually smart about how we do it. It's like providing, you know, internet, or technology, so that they can actually, be more educated about, how the world works, and what is a successful society, and how to get there, and in our own way, with our own creativity, ingenuity, and all that stuff. Um,
Yeah.
So I think he's a very passionate guy. He's very passionate, obviously. Uh,
Yeah, 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 he is.
Very passionate guy. People are not used to that. People are not used to that much like power and
That much
passion.
bass, that much bass.
Yeah, cause we've all been sort of like a lot of us
Tiptoeing
have
around,
been pussified.
tiptoeing around.
Yeah, tiptoeing
Yeah,
around. Stuff like that. So you know,
I I I understand the whole the how shit. I'm gonna say it. The whole pussification of society. I get it. I think it's gotten too sensitive. You know,
just a little bit.
it's gotten very sensitive. Literally, you can't say yeah about anybody. I mind you, I grew up around the time where we could literally say anything about anybody and won't be offensive. Now you can't say the now I got it. You got to say the f word. You can't say the f words. You can't say this. You can't say Asian. They're Orientals. You know what I'm saying? So
People don't remember those Modern Warfare 2 lobbies.
yeah.
They don't remember those Modern Warfare 2 lobbies.
No, those first of all, those lobbies were toxic as those lobbies were toxic. But
It was
I,
toxic, but everybody got it. And
yeah,
nobody was
no,
safe.
yeah, no,
Everybody
yeah,
got it.
yeah. You're right. You're right. Everybody did. Yeah, you're right. Everybody did get it. If you came in there with an accent, it was over.
It was
It was
over. Yeah,
over.
it was over. They
Yeah,
already
no,
knew
you're
where you
right.
from. It's
Yeah,
over.
you're right. And they will target you too. They will target you. Even your own team will target. Yeah. So I get it. The thing is that, like I said, it's gotten too sensitive, especially with this Me Too movement. I don't agree with the majority of it. I don't agree that these some of these people were victims, because some of the evidence says otherwise. And I'm not talking about for the whole collective. I'm just talking about certain individuals in certain cases. And it's not a political thing or a racial thing. It's just the fact that certain people could get away with just basically lying on a man and get away with it. That's the issue I really have with this whole this whole thing that's going this whole thing that's going on with this whole cancel culture and blasey blah. Right now they're trying to literally censor Joe Rogan. The dude literally is the most neutral guy you can find on the internet.
Yes.
He switches his political views based on who he talks to, so they could basically, talk a little bit more. And he does challenge people, but for some reason, he's been labeled all right. He's been labeled, a racist. He's been labeled all these type of things to the point where now Spotify employees are This is insane. Like, since when can a person not have a conversation with another person and not promote them? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like me and you. We're having a conversation. You're not promoting me right now, even though you do disagree with some of the things I say. That doesn't mean that you're promoting me. We're just having a conversation. You challenge my beliefs, and you ask me questions that are challenging my beliefs. It is what it is. But the thing that nowadays is like, dude, why is this got to be so politically charged? You know what I mean?
Mm.
Why everything has to be so, uh, you know, socially correct and all this other stuff? Now, when somebody like Andy comes around and basically says, "Yo, screw this,"
Throw this out the window.
I'm gonna say whatever I want to say. If it's gonna cost me my job, I'm gonna move out the country and still say what I gotta say.
Yeah.
I do see why some people will fucking respect that. I do
Yeah.
see why some people will be like, "God damn it, this motherfucker's based." You know what I'm saying? I do see why some people will say that. Me personally, I don't agree with it. But hey, The motherfucker's honest. All right. At least I know what I'm getting with him. You know,
Mm.
it's basically like Trump. Trump literally comes out and says, stand back and stand by, whatever, whatever, whatever. We know what we're getting with him. I like my racist people to be open and honest. I don't have to do the guessing game. I don't have to do, well,
I,
is he
I
really like,
agree with that too.
you know what
I
I'm saying?
think look, if I'm going to like some I don't know, some restaurant, right? And the owner is racist. I'd probably like to know beforehand, right? I don't want someone spitting in my food. I don't want, I don't want to get the fries from last week. I and it's in American society, it's like everything has to be hidden. Everything has to be pussyfied. Everything has to be made uh, uh, so that it's at the least offensive as possible, right? But it's like, well, some things are okay, right? Well, saying bad things about certain groups is okay, right? Saying bad things about whites is okay, and it's like, okay, well, this is weird because it's only allowing one type of dialogue, and it's not even it's not like it's not a natural dialogue that people just have.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Like I said, I want to know beforehand at least who I'm dealing with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let me
Somebody
know. Let me
that,
know. I'll walk right out. I'll walk right out.
yeah, if there's a huge, if, let's say you go, I don't know, if you're in the Bronx and you go to the Italian party and there's a huge sign that says no Dominicans allowed.
Oh, what you doing here?
Yeah, would you really go in there? No, you wouldn't. You'll be like, get the hell out of here.
Oh, get him the fuck out of here!
Yeah,
Yeah, and I'll get the
exactly.
fuck out of there. But
Exactly, and then you'll go to your place and then put no Italians allowed,
yeah,
and
it's like, all right, we're even
everything will be
now.
right. Everything will be right in the world. No, but like yeah. So at least you tell me who you are straight up. So at least I know. You know what I mean? And like I said before, I don't know if Andy ever wants to consider having a public conversation with me, but I think it'll be something good. Um, is radical vegan? No, I'm not vegan. What's I'm not no, I'm not vegan. Listen, I be eating fried salchicha almost like fried salami almost every other morning, bro. With mango, come on, me vegan, please, please.
Yeah,
My mom will
that's
get mad at me. She's like, "Vegan, qué eso?"
no.
She would be thinking I'm gay or something.
You could put the vegetables on the side and shit, but
Yeah,
I'm not gonna have like for
una
breakfast.
ensaladita, tú sabes, ahí,
Yeah,
but get out of here. Be
yeah.
vegan? Nah, come on, dude. That's not even natural for a man to do.
It's not natural for anybody to do, but
Is it true? I don't know. I heard that if a man eats a lot of like I don't know, was it vegan stuff? I don't know. Like no,
mm,
basically cuts out meat from his diet. His estrogen levels will go up. Is that true?
um, I'm not sure. I would assume that it might have more to do with testosterone, right? So like maybe testosterone, maybe because like people need meat, right? They need the vitamins, vitamin B12, B6 to function properly, right? Your central nervous system. So if you don't eat meat, I mean, there's gonna be some issues there, and it'll probably mess with your
Because you're lacking the protein blocks, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's protein, protein builds the body and stuff. So it's like people need to eat meat.
Yeah.
It's just how much you eat and how you eat it.
Yeah, they said I think was it red meat is good for the brain or something like that. I don't know. Somebody did a small breakdown on meat eaters, and they said that a red meat, for what I could recall, they said red meat is good for the brain.
Mm,
I don't know how true that is, but all right, I guess.
mm. I know fish is good. Fish is That's why people who eat a lot of fish, they're very healthy. Like in East Asia, they're very very healthy. There is like a parasite problem, with
Yeah,
fish. but as long as you know what you're doing, having a diet with some fish is good. You
Yeah,
know.
they said a fish diet is very healthy. I think that's why if you ever I don't know if you ever been to Ecuador, but that's all people eat is like a seafood diet.
Hmm.
That's all people eat over there. They literally could cook a fish like 10 different ways. Um,
Hmm.
uh, also, because in Ecuador, eating chicken is for high class, and,
Okay.
and eating fish is for the poor class. Over here, it's like opposite. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Here, eating fish is for the high class, and all that's why it's so expensive. But yeah, in Ecuador, like it's pretty much a high fish, somewhat of a high fish diet, high seafood diet.
Hmm.
It's insane how cheap you could get, some fish. And don't ever talk to Ecuadorian about tilapia. They don't even know what the hell that is. You know,
I don't even know what the hell that is.
yeah.
It's a type
Apparently,
of fish, right?
it's like fake fish or whatever. It's Asian
Oh.
fish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. This tilapia is not natural.
Oh, damn. It's not
Yeah, it's
even.
like one of those farm fish or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah,
now I
they
know to
bred
avoid that.
they breaded those fish to but it's breaded fish that they make in the farm.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I
so they could
think
sell it cheaply.
I think wild caught is always better. Wild caught fish.
yo, yo, Truth Teacher's in the chat. Shout out to Truth Teacher. What's going on, dude? I hope you're enjoying the conversation. I hope you're not agreeing or disagreeing with anything. What is this saying? He needs gooey. Oh, it's this guy. Yeah, I
Hmm.
see a lot of people that are blocked are in the chat.
Well, I'm watching the chat. But I'm watching the chat just so everyone knows.
Yeah, that's funny. Haitian women could have up to 8 kids, and Dominican women have two. It's a what?
That is true. That is true. There is
Really?
like yeah, there is like the Dominican Republic spends a lot of money on Haitian women giving birth, right?
Okay.
So they go to the hospital, they take up a bunch of beds, right? To the point where like Dominican women don't even have beds. They have to get like two chairs and then give birth on like, on two chairs or on the floor or stuff
Yeah.
and stuff. And it's just like it's I don't know who's really I don't know who's really responsible for that because it's like okay, these hospitals are paid for by Dominicans and they're not being allowed to use
But
them.
no, but the way he's acting, like Haitians are like, they're giving births to like puppies, like 8 kids. Get out of here. What, one or two
I don't
kids or
know. I
whatever
mean,
the
yeah,
case
that's a
is?
little
That's a
eight,
little too much. But
but
but but here in the States, I see a lot of Dominican women having, like, a lot of kids. I do see that. It's mostly, I'm not gonna lie, it's mostly in the urban areas, like the hood. I do
mhm.
see a lot of Dominican women having multiple kids. And it's an economic situational issue.
Yeah, it's I
Be-
mean, you see that in the poor areas of DR.
yeah.
They're really poor and they'll have like five kids and it's just like
Yeah.
why? Like
Um
why? Just
I
have
think
one.
I think to be so I read this article. I don't know how true this is, but this is the article that I read, and there was a social psychologist that actually took apart really funny. They he studied Mexican women, poor Mexican women in California, right? And poor black women in Detroit. So he's a social scientist. He studied these women and found out that the more economically unstable you are, the more kids you will have. Not only because
Hmm.
the the country itself, the government will actually help you out with the kids or whatever the case is, Section 8,
Mhm.
whatever the case. But the thing is that he said that there was a psychological aspect of, I don't have control of my life,
Hmm.
but at least I have control of something. And having control and having that authority figure to basically tell a kid to go to sleep or whatever, and being the reason why that this kid is alive is why they will have multiple kids. It's like a way to cope with your
It
situation.
sounds like a deeply ingrained biological drive to preserve like a people. Is what it sounds like
Yeah,
to me. It sounds like some biological
yeah.
phenomenon.
Like the at the conclusion of this article, the social scientist said that even though he did this study for 6 years, it's still he's still doing the study with multiple races of women, and he's still seeing the same situation. He said that he's right now doing it in the Philippines, and he's finding that the situation is actually a little bit different due to their social economic aspects of the country. And he said that their social aspects might be a little different based on how they grew up or what they believe to be, good or bad traits or whatever the case is. But
Mm,
but here in the United States, pretty much across the board, the more the more economically deprived you are, the more kids you will have. And I think
mm,
you pretty much nailed it on the head, because that's basically what he concluded. It's like a biological drive to preserve something, so you know what I'm saying, like to preserve your lineage.
mm. I personally, I would want to have a lot of kids because I'm positioning myself to, you know, be able to support a family like that, and just to, um, I'm positioning myself to move up economically, socioeconomically, and
Yeah,
that has an impact on my family as well, and to a lesser degree my community. Um, but this is also something that I'm seeing, with Dominicans a lot. Is just today earlier I met a Dominican who got here like 5 years ago, and he's like set up, like he's got everything set up. He's got a wife, he's got a kid, he's got a nice job, he's going to college right now. Barely speaks any English, but he's set up. He has a car, been here like 5 years, and it's like, okay, well, if those of us that succeed are we're succeeding, we should have more kids because these kids are
yeah,
gonna be they're gonna be a little more educated, a little more aware. They're gonna have a little more money to work with, a little more inheritance, and these things, trickle down. It's like, a lot of Dominicans, they get in a nice comfy position, and they're just like, it's take a very selfish approach, and it's like, this is all for me. This is all me, 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 mine, mine, mine. And it's like, well, having children teaches you not to think that way, and it makes you a better person.
yeah. For the most part, I think having kids will biologically put you in a survive. I have to basically um provide for someone now. Someone is depending on me, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it will get you into that type of mode. For the most part, for the most part, that usually happens with with women and also some men. uh I also read this study, I think, a while back, that said uh certain kids come out looking like the dad in order for
Hmm.
the dad to stay around. And they only found
Huh.
this they found this in certain mammals, like monkeys, humans, and I believe certain species of bats. Really, to tell you the truth, I don't even know how they figured that one out, but whatever. But it's so funny when they said, when I read that, and I said, huh, really?
Our tax dollars, guys.
I'm like, really? If that was the case, Maury wouldn't be a thing. You know what I mean? Like, come on now. But I found that kind of interesting. But um, I don't know how many kids you would want. You know what I'm saying? I think a good
Like
solid two or
three.
three. Yeah, two or three. That's basically. I think
If
I
I
think
can
I'll
get
be.
them to have kids, then I made it. Like I did
Oh
it.
wait,
Like
wait, wait, hold on. So I got a question for you because this is somebody told me you said this before and you kind of admitted it. I don't know how true this is, so I'm gonna ask you. Is your current girlfriend a black woman?
what?
This is what they said that you said. I don't know
Guys,
how true this
guys,
is.
I am too damn busy to be in a relationship.
So you're single right now.
Yeah.
So
And I'm
anybody
very
listening,
picky.
anybody listening, remember you gotta go down the criteria for Dominican Renaissance to even pick you up.
Relationships, like I have time to think about that.
Exactly, good answer. So what you guys need to do is become a sexual partner first, and then he'll think about it for maybe a couple of
Listen,
months, maybe
get
2 years.
yourself in a nice economic position, okay? I mean, yeah, you can look for a partner, but get yourself in a nice economic position because a lot of Hispanics are just they're comfortable at their little jobs, making these little paychecks. I'm not trying to degrade you guys. I'm not trying to degrade anybody, but you got to think big. You got to think much bigger than that. And things just come easier. When you have more money and more movement economically.
I got a question, bro. Who would you go after? Who what race would you go after? Either Latina, white woman,
This is
Asian, or
not
black woman?
controversial at all. Um, I mean, probably Hispanic.
Oh, that's bias. That's
No, no, no.
bias.
I mean, I've dated some white girls, and it's like, okay, well, I like that your eyes are green, but culturally, we're not like, there's like, there's some things they're missing that I don't know. It's. I think I need to date more to get a better idea, but it's
I I I I dated an Indian girl, um, an Asian girl, and then after that, they were all Latin or black girls. And
okay.
culturally, obviously the Indian girl was like culturally, it was kind of like I was like, whoa, I'm into this new world now. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Culturally, it was kind of weird to get used to, but it happened. Uh, with the Asian girl, the same thing. Culturally, it was a little weird.
Mm-hmm.
Her parents were a little racist because I'm Latino, so they thought all I did was sell drugs. I'm like, I'm in high school. What the hell? Um, and also because obviously I'm in high school. I live with my mom at the time, so I'm playing. I'm playing video games. WWE and stuff. On my PS2. So they thought that I wasn't gonna amount to nothing. Little did they
Hmm.
know YouTube was a thing. Uh,
Okay.
um, uh, but but that relationship didn't last. I think because it was mostly her friends and her family in her ear or whatever the case
That's
is.
kind of the problem is that they tend
Yeah,
to not last. They tend to end in divorce, and
yeah,
it's very glorified. It's very um that kind of thing with like different cultures and stuff.
yeah. They kill it selling kids drugs. I guess Hispanics needs to stick with their own. Yeah, yeah, that's true.
I
I
mean,
was I would say to
personally,
each to own, but okay.
I just think, well, I just think for me personally, I just always been attracted to Dominicans, and Dominicans have always been attracted to me. But as I get older, it's like, Dominican women are very about their money. They're very about like status and stuff. So it's like it's a little bit different. I don't know if that's a Dominican thing or if that's something that they learned.
I think that's a choppy thing. No, let me stop.
I don't know. I don't know.
I no, I think it's a Latina thing because I met Mexican women just like that too. They're about their money and their business and stuff. And if you aren't aligning with that, then you're wasting her time. You need to come with something to the table. If you're just a pretty face, with some good sex,
I'm not
there's
gonna
no
do
point.
it.
Yeah, there's no point of having you around. You know what I mean? And I tend to see a lot of Latin women who are immigrants here come with that type of mentality, and some first generation Latinos also come with that type of mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Not not a lot of second or third or fourth. You know what I mean? With that type
Mm.
of mentality, with which goes kind of to your point, doesn't it? It kind of goes to your point. With the whole cultural aspects of it, and you know what I'm saying? It kind of goes to your point, doesn't it?
I guess that's cause like I don't know, man. It's just like some Dominicans are just very about their like they're just very focused and very on it, and then there's some Dominicans who are just not. Um, but the ones that are stand out more. The ones that are very about their money and
Yeah.
stuff, and it comes off in a negative light, but it's just kind of like I don't know, man. Like it makes sense to me, like obviously, because every woman has like, women have a baseline. It's like you need to be stable, but like Dominican women, it's like, yo, you gotta know how to dance. You gotta have that swag. You gotta have that money. It's like I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. If, I just think it just motivates me even more, and not necessarily like, oh, I'm doing this for a Dominican woman. It's like, no, it's just like I want to be the best version I can be, so I can have
I
more
I
options.
will I will say that our Latin culture does, especially here in America, does push us more into being more of a provider. I mean, more of a provider, and actually getting in touch with our cultural roots, because our women kind of bring it out on us. You know what I mean? Like you just said, if you don't know the language and you don't know how to dance or whatever the case is, they have this type of criteria.
Uh-huh.
If you don't know none of this, then
If you sound like
why?
Dominican Renaissance, you're way too Americanized for me. I need some more sauce.
Yeah, you just break up your English. Be like, hey, Jess, I like it. You know what I mean? No, but I think you raised some really interesting points, because that's something. So the women are kind of encouraging you to basically be more in touch with your cultural aspects of it, because dancing is a part of it, talking is a part of it, the certain uh uh speech patterns is a part of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you aren't matching that, then she's like, me and you aren't in sync, so why should I give you the time of day? Which is very interesting.
Mm.
Which is
Yeah.
very interesting. And guess what? I'm not against that. I'm not against that whatsoever. It kind of forces other people who are outside of the culture to kind of adopt it, don't you think?
Yeah, it's a what's the word I'm looking for?
It's a dialectic. No, let me stop.
It's
Let
like
me stop.
I don't even
Uh-huh.
I don't even know how to describe it. I guess like a defense. I don't know. It's like
Oh, like being more culturally in tune with something you're familiar with.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like some weird biological cultural thing.
Look at
Um
look at what Viva said. Look at what Viva's saying. True, dancing is one of my criteria.
there it is.
You see?
There it
You
is.
see? Yes, and also having blonde wigs is another one. No, let me stop. No, but wait, all women are about money. They want a man who can take care.
I wouldn't say all women.
Yeah, yeah. That's a reach. I think that's a reach. Not all women. All women want to feel like secure. You know what I mean? Like, okay, we're good, but financially, but I don't think all women really look at that specifically. It's an addition to it. I think it's an addition to it. I could be wrong.
Yeah, so I mean, even like in the way I speak, I sound very like I have
Whitewashed.
yeah, like I just I don't know. I just this is just how I've learned to
Is it
speak.
is it something you learned on purpose to either speak that way, or is it something that you just picked up?
I just felt like I sounds better. I don't know. Like when I was younger, I was just like, okay, this is how like Americans speak, and in my mind, American meant white. So I'm like, okay, well, if I live in the United States of America, if I'm an American, then this is how I should sound. Like, and that's just how it's been. But even like, okay, even the way I speak is still a sort of Dominican way of speaking. Like
That's
even,
true.
it's like it's still kind of a Dominican way of speaking.
That's true.
So
Yeah,
I still
yeah,
keep it,
yeah.
rulay.
Yeah. Like when I first heard you, I was like, why are people thinking he's white? He's not white. Like I could hear it. You know what I mean? I could hear that you're wearing white, but you just had a proper way of speaking. Some people say I have like a Latin accent when I speak. I'm like, I guess
Hmm.
I don't hear it, but I guess so. Um, uh, it's kind of weird seeing Chinese speaking fluently Dominican accent. Yeah, it's kind of weird too. Yeah, you see that a lot in New York. That's kind of weird also.
Yeah.
So bro, before we wrap it up, any more questions?
Uh, let's see. I think I kind of hit on the things that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I kind of just hit on the. Oh, one more thing. One more thing. I gotta bring this up.
Radical is a mouth breather. I do. I breathe a lot from my mouth, man.
All right,
Uh,
let's play a little game.
Here we go.
So I have some photos, right, of
Okay.
different Hispanics, right? Um,
Okay.
all right, and I need you to guess what country they're from.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, that's
Oh
gonna be the
Jesus.
game.
I feel like this is gonna be a trap. But okay, go ahead.
No, no. Um,
I don't know why I sound overweight. I just do. I just got that fat voice, I guess.
all right. So, all right, you ready?
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
All right.
Uh, I gotta guess where she's from.
Where's she from? Yeah.
In Latin America. I'm gonna say Cuban.
Okay.
Damn, I don't even know who that is. He looks like a president. I'm gonna say Dominican Republic. This one. I don't know between Dominican Republic and Haiti.
It's a tough one.
Ah, I don't know. He looks like one of the founding. Fu- I'm stuck between Dominican Republic and Haiti. I'll give that one a pass. I'll give that one a pass.
All right.
This, this, yeah, this yo, you're such a fucking asshole. Yo, you're such an asshole. I'm gonna. Damn. Somewhere I don't know. Somewhere around where there's a lot of water.
Can I at least get an ocean?
Ocean. I'll say. Was it? Where is it? Where's it? No, Atlantic. Is it Atlantic? Is that Atlantic? I think that's Atlantic. Whatever. I'll just say Atlantic. Around the southern part of it. That's what I'll say.
All right. I got more.
Go ahead. I'm del diablo, bro. Um, why he look like my dad? yo, yo, dude looks just like my dad. I swear to God, just he's a little light. This dude's a little lighter. To be honest with you, I don't even know who that is. To be completely honest with you. Oh, come on, dude. No, do not do. No, stop. You're trolling right now. You're fucking trolling. You're fucking trolling right now. She's she's like she's a Spaniard Colombian. That's what I'm gonna say.
Where is she from though?
Spain. She's from Spain. She migrated to Colombia. This um uh, Puerto Rico. Oh, come on, dude. Really? Uh Hold on. How can I make this? I'm gonna say somewhere in Japan.
Hmm.
I'm gonna say somewhere in Japan. Uh, Wait a minute. No, she is she half? Just answer me that. Is
Are
she
you
half?
shocked?
Is she half? Answer me that.
I don't think she is.
You don't think she is?
I don't think she is.
Oh shit. I'm gonna say she's European. I could
Uh,
be wrong though.
that's not a country. That's not.
Yeah. Oh no, that's a whole. Fuck it. Britain.
Okay.
Britain. Some shit. Mexico. Cute. She's cute. Who the fuck? Yo, he looked like he invented Latinx. Uh, uh, I'll say Dominican Republic.
Okay.
This motherfucker. I really don't know who that is, but I think he's an American actor, right? Isn't that no, that's Selma Hayek, right? No, that's not Selma Hayek. That looks like Selma Hayek. I don't know who that is.
What country though?
Spain. Spain.
Okay.
Spain. Who the fuck? I don't know who. Ugh. Spain. Fuck it. Okay, now she's hot. She's fucking hot. She looks like she's Arab. Uh, she looked like she Arab. Middle East. I know I got that one wrong. I know I got that one wrong, but she's probably Dominican.
What? Oh, you're gonna say them. Okay.
I'm gonna say Dominican Republic. Ew. I hope she's not Latina. She's I don't. She looked like she. This looks like the beginning of Cardi B. Like this is the first prototype of Cardi B. You know, Cardi B is like the version that's already finished. This is like how
Okay.
they started it off. Uh, Fucking Puerto Rican.
All right. I'm just gonna put this out there. She's Spanish, 100%.
Oh, she's a Spaniard.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Get the fuck out of here, bro. She looks mixed as fuck. Yo, this dude looked like he be saying the craziest shit to his prostitutes. Uh, like don't he look like he be like he has like these like weird fetishes and shit.
Yeah.
Um, this guy, look at him smiling. He's like, yeah. Um, I'm gonna say I really don't know who the fuck this is. I'm gonna say somewhere. I think No, Cuban. I could be wrong. I don't even know who that is. Whoa, too much teeth. Too much teeth. Relax. Isn't that the same first girl that? No. This is something different.
It's different, girl.
I'll say. Uh, I'll say Jesus. I have to. This is just a guess. I could care less if I get it right or wrong. I'm gonna say Mexican
Hmm.
because I could probably see her in a novela.
You wanna know what she really is?
What is she?
She's Irish, Dominican, and Puerto Rican.
Word? Ah, shit. Yo, get the yo, uh, he, Spaniard, 100%.
Wait,
Yo, get
wait,
the.
what did it for you?
I don't know the fact that Shorty looks like a dude.
Oh,
I don't know. It looks like one of these Latin Xers, bro.
very, very masculine energy. That
Yeah,
like that what that European masculine energy.
yeah, yeah. So stupid. I'll say Spaniard. Okay, this one I already know you're throwing me for a curveball. I already know this one's throwing me for a curveball because you want me to say Spaniard, but in reality, she's probably Haitian. Oh shit. She's. I'm gonna say drum roll, please. She's Haitian.
Uh, I don't know, maybe.
Maybe that's maybe.
All right, I think that's everybody.
Yo, this guy. Yo, this fucking. Yo, this fucking
All right,
guy.
so I'm just gonna go off my dome and try to remember where they're from. I think she's Cuban.
Oh, I got it right.
He's Ecuadorian.
Oh, get out of here. I could tell from the nose. Shit.
I think he's the current president of Ecuador.
Oh, I don't fucking know who the president of Ecuador right now. Founding
Dominican.
father, yeah, founding father. I know.
Uh,
Mexican. That's a Mexican for this one.
I think he's Puerto Rican.
Oh, okay.
Um, and I can confirm this, after, but I'm trying to just go off memory. Past Ecuadorian president.
Oh, my dad. My dad. That's my
Yeah.
dad right there.
uh, she
All right, just pass it. I know what it is. Just pass. Just,
100% Spaniard. Spaniard.
uh-huh.
Cuban.
Uh-huh.
That's Bella Thorne, by the way.
But why did it sound so I knew that that crazy eyes, that hair and the smile. I was like, wait a minute, what? She's the one that did the whole OnlyFans recently, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
So Cuban. Cuban.
Shut the fuck up. No, she's not.
Yeah.
Dude, Cameron Diaz is Cuban?
Yeah.
No, dude, no, she's not.
Diaz.
That don't mean nothing.
Diaz.
That don't mean nothing.
Cubana. Cubana.
Shut up. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
No wonder I liked her in the mask.
This guy, I don't remember this guy. I don't remember this guy. I'm gonna go back to him. 100% Spaniard. Looking mad Dominican.
Yeah, you did that shit on purpose, you fucking asshole. I know what you're doing.
Spaniard.
Okay.
This one should be obvious.
Uh-huh.
He's got that Spanish look to him.
Yeah, you're right.
Uh,
Dominican. I said Dominican for this one.
I think she's also Spaniard.
Really?
Just based off how she looks. Yeah, I think she is Spanish.
Nah, with that forehead and that hair. Nah, bro.
Yeah, I think she's
with the
100% Spaniard.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm gonna verify these. But I'm just Dominican, 100%. Famous artist. I don't really listen to his music, but I've heard it. Trust me, I've heard it at some
I probably
point.
heard it too. I don't even know who he is. Yeah.
Yes, all the songs. Yeah. 100% Spaniard, I think.
Shut up. No.
Yeah.
No, dude. She looks, bro. What? Nah. She looked like mixed with Middle Eastern and Dominican Republic. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Wow, are you telling me a Spaniard looks Dominican? Oh my gosh, that's so
bro,
crazy.
you took the most ethnic Spaniards out out here. You fucking asshole. You're
I
not
took
proving a
some reg.
point.
I took some more ethnic
Regular
looking. Some
ethnic looking
listen,
Spaniards,
listen.
people.
Spaniard is it's there's very different types of Spaniards. They come in different tones and stuff. You
Yeah,
know
same way
the
as Americans. Yeah, I know.
the northern ones, the northern ones are a little bit whiter. I have a Dominican friend who's like his ancestry is from up there. Dude looks like German.
Yeah.
Um, Dominican 100%.
Cardi B's aunt. Yeah.
Spanish 100%.
Jesus fucking Christ. Jesus fucking Christ.
This
Who's that?
guy is
The
he's
pedophile.
Dominican and Puerto Rican.
Oh, that fucking pedophile. He
Dominican and
should
Puerto Rican.
he should no. You should say he's something else. He's something else. Don't put it on. He's something like he's Alaskan. He's Alaskan. Don't put it on us. God damn. Yo, that dude looks creepy. He looks like he encouraged Jeffrey Epstein to do what he did. Look at him.
Yo no sé, pero
Yeah, yo no sé,
that
papi.
little cloth there. I don't know
Yeah.
about that little cloth
Yeah.
there. Probably cost more than my tuition.
Yeah, dude. He looks like he done some evil shit.
And
And
already
you told me that. I still can't believe it. That's insane.
there's
Wow,
Dominican
those
in there. Can you believe that?
no, I see it. I see it
I
in
don't
like
see it.
the nose, but in the eyes and the too much teeth though. She has too much teeth.
Maybe if we like saw her in person and the way she
Probably,
talked and acted, might
probably,
be a little Dominican or a little
probably.
Boricua,
Yeah, probably.
Spaniard.
Latinxer. Uh-huh.
Dominican.
Hey, oh what? Man, I said she was Haitian.
Dominican. So
I should have just went down the whole line saying Dominican, 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 Dominican. All right.
I brought variety.
Yeah, you did. Yes, you did. And I probably got maybe what 4 out of like 10, right? Maybe 4 out of 15, right? Which is like failing grade, but whatever. It is what it is.
Now I'm gonna go through the ones that I couldn't really find out. Um, okay, this guy I wasn't too sure about this guy, so let me verify. But like, I don't. What are you thinking right now?
I'm thinking that this was a great interview. Had lots of fun. I see a lot of my trolls in the comment section.
Okay, this guy's Puerto Rican, so I guessed that right.
Oh, okay. I said Mexican, but all right.
I need to guess. I need to find out what this guy is.
But yeah, the interview turned out great, bro.
Yeah. Um. This guy. Well, it says
Even
he's American. I don't even think he's Hispanic.
oh
Well,
wow,
his
okay.
name. Wait, it says Gonzalo. Wait, no, he is Hispanic. I just gotta find out like his origins. Let me see.
Yo, this dude horror show really hates me, dude.
Yeah, it's
Jesus,
because
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I know why. That's because
um
somebody said he's Puerto Rican and Italian.
somebody said Puerto Rican and Italian.
Yeah,
Okay.
I see
Man,
the
you
Italian.
guys are quick.
I see the Italian.
The quickness. Pretty sure she's Spaniard. Pretty sure she's Spaniard.
That bugs me out right there.
Uh, yeah, I think that was it. Like in terms of what forgot, but
Wait, hold up. Wait. I want you to put something. Hold on. I want everybody to guess this. Hold on. Wait. God damn. I'm gonna send you a photo.
all right.
I want you to put it into I want you to put it into the thing. Where the fuck is it? I want besides you guessing,
Okay.
I want everybody else to guess what this person is. Are they Spaniard? Some type of Latin? What are they? You know? 'Cause, all right. Okay. Wait. Hold on. All right, I'm gonna send it to you through Instagram. Okay.
Okay.
Um. Okay, where are you? Okay, there you go.
All right. Hold on. Let me download this. All right. I'm gonna get this up and running real quick.
Wait, what? What is it? That's let us ask questions and join.
Somebody wants to ask questions.
I don't know because horror show says I'm a white supremacist. I guess. Okay, he's a white supremacist. All right. Um. Yeah, I want everybody to guess in the chat when you get the photo who that person, like what that person is. Are they Spaniard? Are they Dominican? Are they American? Are they like some sort of Latin? You know, you know what I mean? So just let me know what y'all think. You got it?
Yeah, I just sent it to my email. I gotta download it and then I'll just display it.
Okay. Is it Antonio? No, it's not Antonio. Is it Ricky? No, it's not. It's not. It's not.
The anticipation.
Yeah.
All right,
I heard.
guys. All right,
All
guys.
right.
Where do you think this person is from? What do you guys think?
I want the chat. I want y'all to, for real. I'm dead serious. Where do you think this person is from?
Let's see.
I'm dead serious.
Let's see who gets it.
I'm dead serious because whoever gets it, yeah, I'll let them know. But if nobody gets it, I'll tell y'all what. No, stop. This is wrong. Stop. Don't laugh. No,
No, this is
no.
inappropriate.
This is wrong. Stop.
This is bad.
Jamaican.
Jamaican.
Yo, African. What? No. East Europe,
Definitely
East
no.
Peru.
Southeast. That's very specific. Why is that so
Yeah.
specific?
Yeah, exactly. Southeast Peru. Close. Close.
Oh.
Close. What? No. Afro Latin. Well, you would be right on the identity. Or whatever. You would be. Yo, so stupid. You would be right on the identity, but no. Stop. No, stop with the. Xtina got it.
Oh,
Xtina got it. Yep.
hold that L, Mexico.
Xtina got it. You want to know what this person is? This
Well,
person is in charge of the Los Angeles LGBT Center for Latin X binary trans Latin people.
ah,
Yep. The the dudette runs the whole thing.
so this is peak Hispanic right here. This is what peak Hispanic looks like.
No, stop the stop. No, this is inappropriate. Stop. It's not.
Hey, hey, no,
Yo,
no,
chill.
no.
Pause,
I
pause,
disavow.
pause.
I disavow.
Yeah, yo, yeah.
Yeah, these
All I'm
guys are gonna
saying
start
is,
getting inappropriate. I'm just
yeah,
gonna.
all I'm saying is, this is what some of these people, want to advocate for. It's totally fine. It's cool. That doesn't mean that they represent all Latin people. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But Dominican Renaissance, thank you. I'm such a troll. Yeah, yeah. Dominican Renaissance, thank you for having me on. It was a great discussion. We were going on for 3 hours. But like I said, thank you for having me on, and
Sure.
I hope everybody, had a great time also, and found it entertaining, also informative.
Yeah, I hope so too. I generally don't make videos like this, um, because I don't know. I just it's more fun being mysterious. But um,
Yeah, you fucking asshole. How come nobody fucking knows what the fuck you do? You always like so you're just like Batman. What the hell,
that's
bro?
how I am. That's
Jesus,
literally how I am in person.
Jesus
Um,
Christ, bro. You gotta, dude, get get out of that little shell, man. Come on. People want to know who you are a little
I
bit.
feel like I had to really talk about some things. I had to clear some things up because the narrative was getting a little out of my control. So, um, and I feel like, and I needed to, have someone on here because YouTube does not like me and they wouldn't let me upload and stuff. So, I had to come back with a uppercut. Um, and
Oh, you used me for views, you asshole.
I didn't use you. You had fun. I
No,
didn't
I did,
use
I
you.
did, I did, I did, I did, I did, I did. I'm not gonna lie. No, but bro, people want to know a little bit more about you. Like, you could be mysterious and all that. Like, listen, people don't know how the fuck I look like until I actually upload or do a live, which I'm gonna do. I'm gonna show people my face and all that. But you know, like, people want to know a little bit more about you, man.
I think that's yeah. I mean, people who watch my content, I'm sure they want to know more things. And we'll see. The main thing that I want people to get, is to think for yourself.
Yeah,
Think for yourself and then try to better yourself. And yeah, I think that's the main thing that I want people to get. But I mean, that's just my personality. If people don't like it, it's like, okay, why are you here?
yeah. Yeah. With that being said, I'm not based. I know what that means. No, I'm not based. I had a great time. Dominican Renaissance, like I said again, thank you.
Sure.
Um, I hope I get to see you grow a little bit more and actually open up. Because you are an interesting figure, and people, I know people wanna hear more on what you have
Hmm.
to say. You know what I mean? So
I'm sure.
uh is it Agent Smith for the Dominican Renaissance, or Agent Smith for the KKK?
Imagine being in the KKK.
Yeah, That'll be. I don't know how you would do it, bro.
Imagine.
I don't know how you would do it, but if you did, please let us know what the hell they're saying. Go Midtown, I guess. Woman hit the. Okay, all right, I guess. Have you met? No, I haven't met Dominican Renaissance, but I know you live in New York City, right? Another mysterious question. I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe.
You see this guy. Anyway, all right. I'm out. I'm out, guys.
All right.
Thank you for having me again,
Sure.
and
Sure.
shout out to everybody, and shout out to the chat. Peace.
Peace. All right, guys. That was it. Kind of hit you with the surprise, interview, cause why not? Um, Hope you guys enjoyed it, and that is all.